Championship Saturday continues, and it's already been very interesting. Last night, USC, all they had to do was beat Utah, and they were in the playoffs. Couldn't do it. They had an injured quarterback. Come to find out, Caleb Williams was USC, so USC not going to make the playoffs. Earlier today, TCU gets beat by Kansas State in overtime by 3 points. I still think they're in, but man, all across YouTube, I am hearing it from Alabama fans. They think they deserve to be in. I disagree with that. Now, tonight we're going to bring two games. We got different people covering different games. I'll be covering Clemson and North Carolina, and Joey and our guest, John, will be covering Michigan and Purdue. What is going on, fellas?
Good to be here again.
What y'all think about LSU? Did they do better than what you thought, or about what you expected?
About what I expected. It's about what I expected out of it.
LSU?
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
I got to give them credit though. They did fight even when they were down big. They kept fighting and they kept scoring, and I think they had a good outing. But I think the announcers hit it right on the head. Depth is what ultimately killed them in this game, because they do have skill position players that can keep up with people. But when you run into a team like Georgia and even Michigan, that's why I think that's your championship right there, Georgia and Michigan, because they have the depth.
Okay, we do have someone in the back room wants to call in, maybe has a question or wants to talk about something. There you are, Kenny. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, Kenny.
Hey.
Let me announce something. So if you're in the chat, you're wondering where the StreamYard link is. The StreamYard link is posted in Patreon. So only Patreon members can get the StreamYard link, and you're welcome to come in and ask questions or whatever. And then, but it's going to be Patreon members only that gets the StreamYard link.
Hey, Joey, we got a sub update. So we are only 91 subscribers away from 12,000. So I think we can hit 12,000 in the next week. We've had several really good days recently. So I think in the next week we'll be at 12,000.
Yeah, I agree.
How do y'all feel about this evening's game? Games.
It will be a travesty if TCU doesn't make it into the playoffs, because the way they've played all year, I really believe that they should be in over Alabama.
I'll even say this. All right. So if they're going to kick TCU out, I would say that Tennessee has the better argument than Alabama. I know they got whooped on the road by South Carolina, but still that only counts as one loss. Even if you lose by 50 points, they'd add 2 losses to that. That's still one loss. And Tennessee has the head-to-head win over Alabama. Same record, tiebreaker going to Tennessee. If you're going to go that route, I would say Tennessee has a better argument than Alabama. But having said that, I would have Michigan, no matter what happens tonight. Georgia, they just won. Ohio State and TCU. I don't know what the seedings are going to be, though.
Hey, GBD, I have this question for you. What do you think about Ren Baker, the AD?
I like it. At first, I wasn't impressed, but whenever I did my research, not only the thing that I really like about him is he cares about where he goes. When he was at North Texas, they renovated that stadium like crazy. North Texas didn't care about football when he got there. And now he's on the way out. I mean, they're competing for the conference championship. And the stadium looks immaculate. And he made sure that North Texas was on the list of teams headed out of Conference USA. He did not want North Texas to be stuck in a dying conference. So I actually, after doing the research, I think it's a really good hire by West Virginia.
Yeah. Not only that, I think he's a home run hitter when it comes to fundraising and getting money for the college.
Big deal. And the more I find out about Shane Lyons, the more I know that dude's a snake in the grass. He was actually wanting Bob Huggins to step down. I found that out this past week because he had, one bad season.
I tell you, Bob Huggins, they need to leave him alone, let him leave on his own, but he won't leave us in a bad way like other coaches.
Right.
He'll leave us really nice.
I think the only exception to that would be, if we had like 5 or 6 really bad losing years in a row, then, but I think he'd be the type of person where he's like, all right, I don't have any more. I don't think we would have to fire him. I think he would step down.
Oh yeah. He would leave on his own. He's that kind of guy. He's that straightforward. Another thing that I like about Bobby Huggins is, when Shane Lyons wouldn't give him no money on the practice facilities, he went out and got the fundraising and did all of it himself. And that says something for Huggins.
Kenny, can I just touch on what you said earlier about the TCU getting in versus Bama?
Right.
So I half agree and I half disagree. So the part of me that says what should happen would be the part that agrees that TCU has probably earned the right to be number 4 based on what they've done this year. But the part of me that disagrees is the part that knows that the committee likes money, ratings, big brands, and they really love them some Alabama. And they're going to look at which brands are going to, like at this point, TCU has put it in the committee's hands. That was like they could have ran a quarterback sneak. They could have kicked a field goal. They could have kept it going. They put it in the committee's hands. And in that case, the committee's going to look at the brands, the ratings, what money that's going to be generated by putting Bama in versus putting TCU.
I mean,
how about that?
Joey, can you put me full? Can you put me full just for a second?
Yeah. If I can. There.
So we have a very young subscriber by the name of Micah. I wanted to give him a shout out. I know you're watching, buddy. I hope you enjoy the show. And I know you're a Tar Heel fan. I know you're pulling for North Carolina. So I'll be keeping my eyes on this ACC championship game. So I want to give Micah a quick shout out.
Yeah, I'm gonna hop out so somebody else can come in. I just wanted to come in and.
All right, Kenny.
And
See you, Kenny.
Good to see you, Kenny.
So what? How about that play calling today by Sonny Dykes? I didn't understand that play calling. I mean, you're sitting down there. You're 6 inches.
QB sneak, man. Put it in the hands of your best player.
And the answer said it. They need to line up. And because it was 3rd and short, this is when LSU, I think, cut it to 11. And, they could have cut it even closer. And they didn't go for the field goal because that wasn't going to help anything at the time. So, no, they were about to cut it to 11, excuse me. And it was 4th and really short. And the announcer's like, this is the situation where you line up under center and, you just push. And once again, they got in shotgun hand. I don't understand that on 4th and inches. If you go in shotgun, you're literally having to make up 3 yards right there. Right. Like you're putting yourself behind the 8 ball when you line up in shotgun on 4th and inches if you're handing the ball off. Why have coaches gone away from the quarterback sneak?
Yeah, there's
I don't know.
a real over-reliance
more
on
and more.
shotgun.
Now with TCU today, I feel like the quarterback was injured, and maybe that's why he didn't run a quarterback sneak. I mean,
no,
because
he wasn't. He was gassed. I will say that he was gassed, but he had a break in between because Kansas State went back on offense and he got hydrated and all that stuff. But Duggan wasn't injured. He was just, he put 120% in. He didn't just put in 100%. He put in 120%.
He was winded. He went on that big run there. He was winded, but he could have still done a quarterback sneak.
Right, exactly, and push.
We have somebody in the back
room.
room.
You have a fullback and a running back, and you push.
So we have somebody in the back room like to come in and talk and ask some questions. Hillbilly Skeptic, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, buddy?
You're muted. You're muted there, Hillbilly.
What's going on there, fellas? Glad to finally see some of you.
Hey.
I'm getting over whatever funk's been going around. So bear with me. I just had this one point I wanted to make. I've been wanting to say it all weekend. Why I believe Alabama deserves to get in, right?
I'm listening.
How many, if you guys can answer one question for me, I'll change my mind. But this is the reason I base this. How many top 5 teams that are not in their conference has Ohio State and Michigan beaten? and how many has SEC in the past 5 years?
How many top
I'm
five?
one of them that I don't look to the
Top
past.
five
I don't care what
conference
happened
champions.
last year.
Has Ohio State.
I'm one of them.
Here's my. I was going to say this to that about that, Joey, about the year. Every year is different. If every year is always different, how come the past 7 years it's never been different? How come we still got Georgia?
Because they get the best players. Because they get the best players.
They got the
Well, to a
recruiting.
certain extent, you're correct with the SEC, but if you notice, it's like 2019, it was LSU that dominated. 2020, it was Alabama that dominated. Last year, it was Georgia that dominated. So I agree with you, but I also disagree with you in the fact that it is the same based on the conference, but it's not the same because teams take each other's place. And there for a while, early 2000s, we had Florida, who was very dominant. Auburn rose there for a minute. So I agree, but I disagree because you have to base it on teams, not a conference. And I think that's the argument that people try to use for Alabama. But if you actually watched Alabama games this year, they weren't very good. They struggled against a bunch of teams, and then of course they don't have any bad losses. That's not what I'm saying. And I know they're 4 points away from being undefeated. I get that. So the losses aren't bad, but they're still there. So I put it all together. They have 2 losses, and there's several other games where they just didn't look good at all. They're lucky that Texas didn't beat them, and then they had to survive Texas A&M.
Right.
Right. Well, I mean,
even Ole Miss. Hey, Ole Miss turned out to be an 8-4 team, and Mississippi State had no problem. Alabama went on the road and barely survived Ole Miss as well.
But you see, this is another point I'd like to make. I can't deny that Alabama regressed somewhat. But the thing is, the rest of the SEC came way up this year, I think, in recruiting. With
Disagree.
Ole Miss.
There's a couple of teams that did, but Georgia is not as dominating as what they were last year. They're undefeated, but if you compare last year to this year, last year through the regular season, they were a freaking buzzsaw. They had an off game with Alabama. Y'all know my theory on that. I'm not going to go into that. But they were a buzzsaw last year, right? This year, they've had to survive games. I consider that, even though they're undefeated, that's a slight step back, right? Ole Miss, clearly taking a step back. Alabama, clearly taking a step back. Mississippi State, about the same. Texas A&M fell off the wagon. I mean, they're terrible. Auburn's still bad. Vanderbilt, just a little bit better. Florida's worse. Now, Tennessee, better. South Carolina, better. I think the SEC East is better this year, not the SEC. I think the SEC West is worse.
Well, I mean, that's.
So here's the thing about it is, like Alabama, yeah, they've had an off year, and they've lost a couple of games. They've taken a step back. It's not a huge step, though. It's not a huge step if you think about it.
Right.
When
we say
their
Alabama
games this
step
year,
back, I'm not saying bad. Still a 10-win season.
Yeah. Right. They played Texas game 1 and they struggled there, and we thought, wow, either Texas is really good or Alabama's really bad. And it turns out they're both just average teams. Texas finished 3rd in the Big 12, and Alabama looks like it's going to finish 3rd or 4th in the SEC. So, it's just there's 2 average teams.
Ask yourself this question. So we'll do the 3 and the 4 spot. All right. Who would you say? And we'll go. Let's see who do we want to compare. We'll say TCU, Ohio State, and Alabama. Okay. So let's say you put Ohio State in, or Alabama, or TCU. Which one of those 3 teams is going to give Michigan a better game? Well, it's not Ohio State, so it's between Alabama and TCU. I think TCU would.
I disagree.
And then there's Georgia. Who would give Georgia the best game?
Alabama.
Maybe.
I don't
But
think.
only because they know.
I think it's
To me,
possible.
it doesn't matter.
They have a good game with that skill.
To me, it doesn't matter. Georgia's going to win. Okay, now
Yeah.
me personally, I would like to see Georgia. I'd like to see Michigan 1. I'd like to see Georgia 2. I'd like to see OSU 3 and TCU 4.
I like it.
And the reason why is I want Georgia to march through the best of the Big Ten and beat them by a minimum of 3 scores in each game and prove the point that I've been trying to make here tonight.
I think they
the only thing we could all agree on.
And Ohio State, but I think Michigan is a different. I think Michigan is actually ready this year. Last year, yeah, they had a magical season, but they looked like they were a deer in the headlights. And of course, Georgia was a buzzsaw this year. They're not that buzzsaw. They're good. They're undefeated, and they made LSU look silly. But overall,
there's two aspects of it. So Georgia last year had like a lot more like really senior NFL talent. Also, Michigan didn't have the quarterback. So Cade McNamara was a great game manager. But if you look at his stat line, not a lot of touchdowns. He was mostly used for handoffs, the occasional throw to Eric Gall, the occasional throw to Cornelius Johnson, but he was more of a manager of the run game and then pass second. J.J. McCarthy can get you with his legs. He can get you with his arm. He can throw the short ball, the medium ball, the deep ball. Is he perfect? No. But I think he displayed against Ohio State, and even at the end of the Georgia game last year, even though it was against the backups, I know. But he showed that he could evade an NFL pass rush. So
two teams, top 10 scoring defense, top 10 scoring offense, Georgia and Michigan. That's it.
What is Michigan's
by the way.
What is Michigan's
and this could be a quick 3 and out, guys. It's a 3rd and 8, and 52 seconds, and they're already punting on a 4th and 8 to North Carolina. 52 seconds.
Already punting.
And they're already having to punt.
Looks like Michigan game is about to start here in a sec. I love when they say it'll start at 8 and it actually starts at 8:20.
These 2 different games because I didn't want to have to end up flipping back and forth, and then that way y'all can be focused on one, and then that way we can just update each other.
Well, one thing I think we'll all agree on is
first quarter, and Clemson is punting in North Carolina already.
S. Libertas 1996 commented, Big Ten is ready for the SEC to bring it. Yes, the Big Ten is ready this year, I believe.
Not
real quick, I think we all agree. After last night, Pac-12 is out. They don't get into playoffs. ACC is out. They don't get into playoffs. So, and it looks like, unfortunately, now the Big 12 is probably out. So it's just going to be either 2 SEC and 2 Big 10, or possibly TCU
I don't think the Big 12's out. I think there's 1 SEC, Georgia, 2 Big 10s, Michigan, Ohio State, and 1 Big 12, TCU.
So Purdue's about to start. Purdue's about to – they got the ball first. Those of you who were following Aiden O'Connell know that his brother passed away, so he's playing with a lot of emotions right now. But I expect them to get some yardage.
Well, hey guys, I just wanted to come in and stir the pot a little bit.
Always great.
I enjoy it, man. And if we didn't have any pot stirs, it would be boring.
I agree.
Hey, best college football show on YouTube, guys. Keep it up.
There's people like you that make it. That's what I try to tell people. I'm just the voice and the face of this thing. It's the subscribers and the support. North Carolina, another first down. That was like a 15-yard game. Something is not right with Clemson, guys. I'm telling you.
Junior Colson.
So in the I'm watching the basketball game.
Purdue isn't doing much right now. I'm watching
West Virginia versus Xavier, and the first half was all West Virginia, just completely dominated Xavier, and now the second half we're tied up 58-58. So
yeah, it's going to be in the runs, especially it being at Xavier. So I expect West Virginia to go on a run, and it just depends on if we end on a run or if they end on a run. I expect us
sack.
But it could be a close win if it ends with a Xavier run. We're the better team.
Yeah.
Big sack.
Yeah, we are the better team.
Oh,
the bigger team too.
No. Jalen Harrell. Haven't even heard much about Harrell. So Purdue got nowhere. They're sacked back at almost at their 5, so they're going to have to punt from pretty far back here.
Something earlier on the video that I made today about Neil Brown. As a West Virginia fan, I don't like the fact that we're keeping him, but we are. So, we got to face facts. I'm a West Virginia
Crazy.
fan, so I'm going to support the team. But my question is, after I've heard all this negativity about Shane Lyons, could that change what we see on the football field? I'm telling you guys, like a bunch of crazy things that I've heard, and it's been confirmed. So it seriously, it really feels like the dude was turning the whole West Virginia athletics back, like basketball. Because even Bob Huggins said that basketball was not getting the funding that they usually got under Shane Lyons. Something was not right with that.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I've been saying all year. I mean, everybody's talking about Neil Brown. There was problems within the whole athletic department. Bad problems. Everybody in 2021 finished at the bottom of the Big 12 in every sport. Every sport finished at the bottom of the Big 12, with the exception of rifling, which is not Big 12, but with the exception of rifling. So what does that tell you? I mean, and I always use the analogy: if you run Walmart, you got one department that's bad, you fire that department head. But if you've got 8 departments that are bad, you fire the manager of the store.
Right.
And so it was time to fire the manager of the store and move his program ahead. I do believe there's going to be a huge turnaround. I think Neil Brown had handcuffs on and couldn't do certain things. Had to do things to Shane Lyons' way. And now that handcuffs have been removed, we might see a big change in West Virginia this year.
I will say this, though. Now he has no excuse. If we want to use the Shane Lyons excuse,
right.
All right, let's see what we can do then. North Carolina, a huge first down to the Clemson 15-yard line. About a 20-yard gain. There's so many gaps in this Clemson zone that it looks like Swiss cheese, guys.
Yeah, Michigan's been looking pretty uncreative, just typical Jim Harbaugh runs so far, but I'm sure they'll do a pass play here for 3rd and 9.
For anybody in the chat that would like to join in, ask a question or whatever, the link to come into StreamYard is posted in Patreon. So, and if you're not a Patreon member, you can join for as little as $2 a month. So, less than a cup of coffee for a whole month, and you can join up. And the Patreon link is right there. Nightbot just put it in the chat. So you can go to Patreon and join up for $2 and then get the StreamYard link and come in here and join us and talk a little bit. So West Virginia and Xavier.
Absolutely. John, so they did get the first down. So as I thought, they called a pass play and got the first down.
What yard line are they on?
The 45. And just nice pass to Rowan Wilson there. He's back. He's alive again. Haven't really seen much from him the last couple of weeks.
North Carolina inside the 10. This is going to be 3rd down and 3 or 4.
So Rowan's at the 25 yard line. They gave it.
I did call the Kansas State upset over TCU because Kansas State actually was dominating TCU the first matchup until they got down to their 3rd quarterback. And Will Howard was 100% for this game, and he's looked really, really good. So I know TCU does have some issues on defense. It's not a bad defense, but it's definitely not elite. And, Kansas State has a competent quarterback. So I didn't want to be right, but I kind of had a feeling that – and it's always tough to beat a good team twice in the same season. Now, Utah does it every year. They did it last year against Oregon, and they did it this year against USC. So I guess they're outside of that rule. But for most people, it's very, very difficult to do that. I mean, even look at last year, Alabama. Not going into my theory, but if we don't want to talk about the theory, then it goes back to that. Touchdown, North Carolina. Wow.
To Mark Kearns in the chat, he says, Joey, how about Dabo Swinney's USF? Oh, man, I don't even need to respond to that, though. I mean, come on. USF ain't going to pay him $12 million a year.
No
he ain't coming.
He's not going anywhere.
What about prime time going to Colorado? That shocked me.
That's a weird fit. But if anyone can do it, listen, this is a guy who knows tons of advertisers, tons of people who could come in and rehabilitate the facilities and the grounds. And then you also have, the staff, the players he can bring in. He has connections all up and down the football world. So he actually, if I could think of one person who could rehabilitate the struggling Colorado team, I think it could be Coach Prime.
I agree.
You know, Colorado used to be a
two
good
things
team.
I said in my video today. Two things. First thing is he's got his work cut out because you watch Colorado play anybody, and it literally looks like a high school team playing an NFL team. They were almost dead last in scoring, and they were dead last in points allowed. Scoring like 16 points a game and allowing 45 points a game. That's a 30-point discrepancy. How they beat Cal, I don't know. So that's the first thing. The second thing is it's going to do one of two things. The first one, it's either a sign that the Big 12 is going to pick some teams out, and Colorado wanted to make sure that they were in that bunch by upgrading massively at the coaching position. Because whenever I did my videos, what was the one team that I was always down on? I liked Utah, Arizona, and Arizona State was fine, but I always wanted to sub Washington State for Colorado because of how bad their football program is. So it could be that, or it could be a way for the Pac-12 to solidify itself and be like, hey, our worst team just went out and got prime time. We might be all right. We might actually be able to get some more money out of our TV deal because prime time is worth some views. I mean, Jackson State hardly ever plays on TV, but Colorado, Pac-12 at night, I'm telling you, if they put Colorado on a Pac-12 at night with Dion coaching, they're going to get more views just because he's the coach there. He's an eyeball bringer. He's not just a coach. He's an entertainer. People want to see him.
Absolutely. There's been a big challenge by Purdue's coach, the catch of Rowan Wilson. McCarthy threw it kind of low, so he did like secure the ball at the beginning, kind of extended it, but then it kind of bobbled a little when it hit the ground. So they're looking at it to see if it was enough to deem a reception or not.
Well, about I think it was like 8-something left in the first quarter. North Carolina's already up 7-0. And that's not a big deal in and of itself, but combined with how bad Clemson looked on their first offensive possession, this could be a long game for Clemson guys. It looks like, if they don't get that loss to South Carolina out of their head, they could let it beat them again.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't think North Carolina is a very good team. I think Clemson is the better team. I don't think Clemson's a great team, but I think they're better than North Carolina. But, if you can't get that loss, a 1-point loss to your rival at home, if you can't get that out of your head, then you're going to allow a lesser team to beat you.
I was sitting here
Absolutely.
talking away and had my mic muted. I had been sitting here talking away. And I was like,
really?
why does everybody keep interrupting me? My mic was muted. So anyway, so this basketball game, there's 8 minutes and 50 seconds left. West Virginia leads 63-60 over Xavier. So now there was a big thing the other day I seen everybody talking about, is it Xavier or is it Xavier? It's Xavier.
Xavier. There's no X sound in it. It's just Z, Xavier.
Yeah, just Xavier.
Weird. All right, so Clemson went 3 and out on their first possession. This is their second possession. They can't afford that. So there's 8:50 left in the first quarter. They a whole 52 seconds off the clock on their first possession. If DJ has another rough series right here and Dabo does not bench him for Clubnik, then Dabo's kind of lost it. So they run up the middle with Will Shipley 2-yard gain, so it's already 2nd and long for Clemson.
Oh, that was an awesome catch. JJ was evading like 2 Purdue guys coming at him. Ran to the side, almost to the sideline, threw it to Ronnie Bell. Ronnie Bell got the catch there.
Taking that ball on their own 27-yard line. False. This looks like it's going to be a false start on Clemson. Man. Yep. So it's going to be 2nd and 13.
We're going to miss Ronnie Bell.
See the one, y'all didn't even have your starting running back last week, and he still gashed him, didn't he?
Yeah. So we had our backup running back in who ran for a bunch of yards. Cornelia, and yeah, JJ actually had some really good throws.
Y'all set a record. Y'all had, I think it was 4 touchdown plays, pass and running over 45 yards. It was a new record in that rivalry between Ohio State and Michigan.
And at Columbus, too.
Yeah. Nice play by Clemson. They make up some of that. It's going to be 3rd and 5.
So TH3 in the chat saying, I'm wondering if
Colston
Dabo's going to go to the
touchdown.
NFL. Oh, okay. Touchdown. Good job. Hey, he said, I'm wondering if Dabo would go to the NFL. Or goes to the NFL. I don't think. They couldn't pay him. They couldn't pay him enough.
Why would he leave? Here's the thing. The man has won 2 national championships at Clemson. They're going to be building a statue after him if they don't have one already. They're going to be naming stuff after him. Why would he leave that program for anybody except maybe Alabama?
All right, another 3 and out, guys. Another 3 and out. 4th and 5. Clemson's going to have to punt. If Dabo doesn't put Clubnik in there, then he's not trying.
I'm surprised Clubnik isn't in already. Clubnik seems to me to be the obviously better quarterback. But
the best way I can describe DJ from what I'm seeing is not confident and scared.
Agree, yeah.
The way he's playing, not confident and scared.
And as part of it, the OC.
So North Carolina has a good offense, right? They have a good offense. I wasn't worried about that. But if Clemson keeps doing this, they're going to get blown out because all North Carolina needs is for their defense to be confident. They don't have a good defense. Clemson is beating themselves right now. And if they keep doing that, North Carolina can score, and they'll put up a ton of points on Clemson.
So Mark Kearns, yeah, you're right. I mean, an NFL general manager could dish out some money to snipe up Dabo, but it ain't going to happen, and here's why. Dabo's head coaching experience is at Clemson, and we've seen what happens to college football coaches when they go to the NFL. 80% of them fail. So they'd have to pay him $12 million to bring him into the NFL. They're not going to take that risk. That's a $12 million risk plus a huge contract.
Look at what just happened with Urban Meyer. Look at what's happened with Cliff Kingsbury.
I mean,
look at what's happened with Nick Saban.
Matt Rule.
Yeah.
It's 80% of the coaches from college to the NFL fail. I mean, one of the best examples of not failing would be Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll was great in NFL and college. Harbaugh, right? So but 80% of them
one play away from winning a Super Bowl, and then Michigan never gets it.
Yeah,
Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah,
Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah. John Marzullo, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. He says it's crazy the difference between confident DJ and unconfident DJ. Don't think I've seen it that extent in a long time.
And it's night and day. When he's playing with confidence, he can carve up a defense. The dude has an arm. This is all mental with DJ.
Right.
He has the physical tools. I mean, there's a reason why he won the starting job at Clemson and why he was a 5-star coming out of high school. But his mentality, I don't know what happened. I really don't. I guess he lets one mistake, turn into 50 mistakes. He can't put a mistake behind him. Yeah. That's what it boils down to. And it's really sad.
The basketball game's at a commercial. Basketball game's at a commercial is 67-65.
What about the resurgence of Spencer Rattler? And I'm not saying that he's a great quarterback, but he is looking better than what he did at Oklahoma. And I had South Carolina finishing 9-3 with the shot to finish second in the SEC. They finished 8-4 because of 2 big wins at the end of the season, third in the SEC. So I wasn't too far off with that. I think Spencer Rattler is growing. He's still got a long way to go. But if he can take another step forward next year, he could be a really good quarterback at South Carolina.
Yeah, you had them losing to
North Carolina. Is this an onside kick? Oh wait, no, they were showing a replay. My bad.
Yeah, before the season, you had South Carolina losing the last 2 weeks before the season, and they won the last 2 weeks, but they lost 2 games you didn't expect them to. So,
if Purdue can't get their offense going, they're done.
John Marzullo,
Michigan keeps
showing
their offense now.
He says, any chance he transfers for a change of scenery?
He is in Dabo.
Now, as in
if
DJ.
you're talking about Dabo, I don't know.
If Dabo keeps giving him an opportunity. If Dabo doesn't bench him for Clubnik, then no, there's no reason to transfer.
Oh, is he talking about Dabo?
Yeah. Who are you talking? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Dabo. You're talking about DJ?
DJ.
That's what I was thinking.
I guess.
Yeah.
That's what I assumed.
If he loses the QB battle, then yeah.
Here's why. So this was the super chat, right? Before.
Yeah, so it's probably
competent DJ, incompetent DJ. And then this super chat of any chance he transfers for a change of scenery. They want him a kid, I guess.
The battle, like Cade McNamara lost the battle, and now he's transferring to Iowa. And by the way, they are so happy, those fans. I can't even begin to describe it because they've been just dealing with such a bad offense for so long. Like Cade McNamara, they were partying in the streets.
Who was their quarterback? Was it Laporta or
Petrus?
Petrus.
Yeah, Petrus.
Petrus.
Laporta was tight end. Laporta.
But Iowa, I mean, they had an elite defense again, but they can't score more than 20 points.
Yeah, Laporta, tight end of the year. Not just tight end, but Big Ten tight end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, how do you have a tight end of the year and your offense is terrible?
It's called Brian Ferentz nepotism. That's what that's called.
Yeah,
get him out.
He needs to, if he could bring in an offensive coordinator that can get creative like that and keep his hands off of it, then he could be one of the most successful. Which he's pretty successful at Iowa, but he's starting to dig a little rut for Iowa.
I'm hearing some rumors, and I want to be clear to everybody: these are rumors. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I'm hearing that that there may be some discussions with Josh Gaddis and Iowa. Now that Cade McNamara is over there, there's obviously the familiarity there of a couple of years of working together. I think as much as I've talked trash about Gaddis this year, I actually think it would be an upgrade for Iowa to get him over what they have.
North Carolina just punted the ball back to Clemson, so it's still 7-0. Clemson has the ball back. I'm very interested to see if DJ comes back out for this series.
I mean, Dabo has benched a quarterback in the past. It has happened, so it's possible.
But his problem is he's starting to get too attached to people. And instead of going out and get, great offensive and defensive coordinators like he was doing it in the past, he's promoting from within, and you can tell a big difference production-wise.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Nick Saban, say whatever you want about Nick Saban. He goes out and he finds extremely talented offensive coordinators and defensive, and they just aren't very good head coaches. So they need a year or two of coaching rehab. So Saban takes them all under his wing, and they call some plays, maybe analyze some, and then they go back and be a head coach somewhere else.
What do y'all think about Hugh Freeze at Auburn?
Well, I think I think he'll turn Auburn around as far as on the football field, but he'll also turn them around as far as probably some sanctions and some violations and some bad publicity. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure the call girls are already on speed dial there. So
he is a good football coach, but from a PR
I did some
perspective,
research, and that's really the only thing as far as what he did that would still be wrong. And he kept his nose clean whenever it comes to stuff like that at Liberty. So, I
no, he didn't. No, he didn't.
No, he didn't. Chance to see what he does.
No, Liberty got sued. Liberty just settled out of court because of Hugh Freeze.
Well, I'm talking about call girls and stuff like that.
About what?
The call girl situation.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, because he got in the middle of some kind of an argument of molestation or something, and he decided to tell the girl that she was wrong in a tweet, and ended up getting sued, and the university settled it out of court.
What he did made a bad decision, because what he did was he took defending his player way too far. But that's separate from what we were talking about earlier with the call girls and stuff. Yes, that's still bad for Liberty. But what I'm saying is, that decision was him taking it way too far, defending his player and acting like, shaming her for, coming out and saying what she said. And, hopefully he learned his lesson from that. But I don't know. The dude, you just never know with him.
I know it.
I got to give Aiden O'Connell a little credit. He just took a big sack, and then he comes back a couple seconds later. The next
big play by Clemson, first down.
Makes a really good first down there.
All right, so what I just noticed is what they I think they benched DJ.
Really?
And what I'm seeing is, Clubnik is in there. Yeah.
Wow.
And
so he did it.
Right now, the play calling is safe-ish passes to get him comfortable. Yep, that was another safe out. But they're putting the wide receivers in space for them to make plays. But yeah, Clubnik is in there. So it looks like Dabo still wants to win football games.
So I will tell you what's going on in the basketball game. 4 minutes left in the game. West Virginia is trailing 73-72. Xavier's got the lead. So what's happened, though, is that West Virginia's become sloppy. They've just started turning the ball over. Looks like they're a little tired, maybe, and they're just playing really sloppy. So, so Xavier's got the ball right now, and there's a timeout on the floor.
First down, Clemson. They're moving the ball. They're almost to the North Carolina 40-yard line. About 4.5 minutes left in the first. I'm seeing this is a little bit of a hurry up too. I'm noticing that as well. Clemson is in the hurry up. They're playing a little quicker with Clubnik out there. And they're gashing North Carolina's defense. Sloppy handoff, but he made something out of it. Almost the first down.
If you're just tuning in, so Golden Blue's covering the
Purdue touchdown.
What's the score?
All right.
Well, 6-7. They'll probably get the extra point.
So what's going on, guys? If you're just joining us, Golden Blue Dude's covering the Clemson game, and John is covering the Michigan game, and I'm covering the West Virginia basketball game. So we've got 3 different things on right now.
It's true.
Wide open, first down, Clemson. Red zone. Hurry up, man. They are running a hurry up offense. This is night and day, man. I'm telling you. Clemson is running blazing.
John, are you able to get rid of the bot in the chat?
Yeah.
The Clemson has it 1st and 10 on the North Carolina 14, moving left to right. Clubnik back in the shotgun. They're running a triple read on that, and Clubnik keeps it. So what happened? They ran a wide receiver in motion, and as he was coming across the formation, they hiked the ball. So the defense had to keep track of the guy in motion, the running back, and Clubnik, and Clubnik kept it. So that was a lot of motion, and it pulled North Carolina. Now they got a 2nd and 2 down on the North Carolina 6. I'm liking this fast-paced play calling by Clemson.
Well, Clubnik is he's a really talented quarterback, and
did he get it?
It shows you it's like night and day when you have a talented quarterback. So the same thing happened with Cade and JJ earlier this year. They had the battle, and when JJ came in, it was just night and day. The offense played better, the O-line held better, kept him protected better. I mean, everything was just clicking. Oh, they reversed the call. Didn't break the plane, they said.
I think he stepped out before the ball crossed the plane, so it might be 1st and goal on the 1 inch. He steps out right.
What's the score?
There.
What's the score of your game?
It was going to be 7-7, but looks like they're at the 1st and goal. Didn't break the plane.
Oh, okay.
Same thing here. He barely does not break the plane. So it's going to be 1st and goal from the 1 foot line for Clemson. If they call it the way they're supposed to, it will be 1st and goal from the 1 foot because he didn't break the plane before he stepped out.
Xavier was at the free throw line, shooting 2 and made them both.
How much time is
shooting
left?
3? Shooting 3.
How much
So
time
there's
is
4
left?
minutes left in the game. Yeah, there's 4 minutes left in the game. They had a timeout. Now he's back at he's shooting 3 and made all 3 of them. So they fouled him at the 3-point line. 76-72. West Virginia's got the ball coming down the court.
We'll have another run. Yeah, they reversed it. He's down at the 1 foot line.
West Virginia turned the ball over.
Same exact things are happening. It's great.
And West Virginia fouled the guy at the rim.
So the refs are doing an official review of the did it break the plane or not. First they said yes. Or first they rolled a touchdown, then they said reverse. Now they're reviewing it again.
What? They're reviewing the review?
That's what it looks. That's what that's what it looks like.
So I was behind about a minute. I guess my thing had shut down for a second. Anyway, Xavier is leading 80-72 with 1:42 left in the game. So West Virginia needs to come out and get some threes, but Xavier's at the line right now shooting, and he made the first one. So now he's going to be shooting again. So it's 81-72, and West Virginia's got to get some 3-pointers here.
I think Clemson actually lost a half a yard on that, so it's going to be 2nd and goal from the 1. And like clockwork, they slowed their play calling down and given North Carolina a chance to breathe.
West Virginia just turned the ball over again. I tell you, they've gotten really sloppy the second half.
Touchdown Purdue.
Touchdown Clemson. Touchdown Clemson.
There we go. Now let's get the ball back. Let's get a touchdown.
They faked the handoff and threw to the tight end in the back of the end zone.
So do you think this is going to switch the results now that Clubnik is in and it seems like things are rolling?
Yeah. It's definitely going to at least be more back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah, North Carolina's defense has been real questionable.
Not good. It's bad.
Gene again, with hiring their buddies. Gene Chizik was the laughing stock of college football, and now he's back coaching defense. He still doesn't know what he's doing. It's like it's the buddy system. with these things.
Okay, so Xavier's taking an 11-point lead with 1 minute and 12 seconds to go. But he's got the ball and driving in and gets it up, and he got fouled. So we're going to the free throw line.
141 left, and it is now tied 77. 77. 141 left in the first quarter.
I agree, Jonathan. That was a pretty soft defense. I mean, yeah, that wasn't very playoff caliber, in my opinion, to let Purdue. I mean, the goal line part was okay. I think they held pretty tough at the goal. They did what they could, but before that, they were pretty soft on coverage.
The Purdue game is one of those games where dreams go to die. So,
I know.
I mean,
Yeah.
I know.
Purdue can upset you.
At least it's not at their house. It is at night, but it's not at their house.
Yeah.
So hopefully that helps.
Who predicted the big slide of Michigan State this year?
I kind of did. I mean, I didn't know exactly the level, but I predicted it wouldn't be
I
the same
predicted
level.
they would miss the ball.
Yeah.
If you go back,
Kenneth Walker covered up a lot of problems, and you can look at what he's doing in the NFL.
Last year, they had some weird games where they got some calls that they shouldn't have got, so that helped them. And then, they had a bad defense, but Kenneth Walker just made up for almost everything because every time he was injured, Michigan State lost. Well, he's not going to be in any games this year, so it was simple math. Michigan State minus Kenneth Walker equals bad season.
Well, also, when you have an all-time running back, then the pass game looks better too, because Peyton Thorne was able to complete some passes because the defense had to factor and try to scheme against Kenneth Walker, so that opened up the pass game. So their whole offense it looked good because of Kenneth Walker.
And now it looks like North Carolina's offense is sputtering. Fumble, Clemson has it.
Yeah. A lot of those guys were recruited by Venables, so that's somebody who knows his defense.
So one substitution has changed this game already. This was a bad handoff, though. That was on North Carolina. This was a bad handoff.
Mark Spaniola says Braum is the best coach Michigan has seen this year. I mean, I would have said Ryan Day before. I still think Ryan Day's his record's pretty damn good. 5 losses ever and only 2 Big Ten losses ever. Braum has had quite a few.
I think he's got a point though, because if you look at the talent that Ohio State has versus the talent that Purdue has, I think Braum is better at coaching up players. Yeah. And Ryan Day's just a better recruit. Oh, Clemson almost scored again. He's out at the 3, I think.
Yeah, if you want to talk about who does more with less and who upsets teams more, then Braum is the winner by far.
Yeah.
So West Virginia falls to 6-2 on the year in basketball. They lost by 10 to Xavier. So falling to 6-2.
Which is stupid,
and we dominated that whole game.
West Virginia is a better team than Xavier. They got sloppy.
They did. They got really sloppy. They looked like they got really tired. Started turning over the ball way too much. So
touchdown Clemson, just like that. In about 3 minutes, Clemson goes from, man, this is going to be a long game, to, man, we can blow them out now. I mean, the confidence level is night and day.
Yeah. I think he just solidified his QB1 for next year.
Yep.
Also, if y'all can do us a favor and like the video if you haven't already, helps out.
Yeah,
helps get seen.
And also invite a friend over. Invite a friend to come and join us too. Share the video with somebody. That's all we ask. Share a video with one person.
Last check before we went live, we're 91 subscribers away from 12,000. So if you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button. Let's get to 12,000.
Let's go.
Right. So we have a big show coming up on the 11th of this month. We're going to be a 5-hour live stream where we're going to bring in people from the each conference. So we'll We'll start off with the SEC at noon to 1. Then we're going to go Big 10, then Big 12, ACC, and then Pac-12 to round out the 5 hours. And so be sure and join us for that, because we'll be celebrating 12,000 subscribers at that time too. We'll have them easy by then. Seems like every time we plan one of these.
It's like a bragging
Seems like
rights
every
type of
time
thing, because we're going to review the season and, look at each conference, see how they did, and then try to figure out who's going to do the best in bowl season.
Yeah. It's funny though how it turns out, because every time Golden Blue Dude and I talk about doing a live stream, a big one, with a lot of guests and everything, we never know. We're always talking about something else, but every time it happens, we hit a milestone. So like we did it at 5,000, we did it at 7,500, we did it at 10,000, and now it looks like we're going to do it at 12,000. So we're going to hit a milestone about the same time. So it'll be a great stream.
Absolutely.
I think we could definitely be at 20,000 this time next year.
I think that's really a real possibility. I think by football season will be to 15,000 by the time kickoff happens next year. We'll be at 15,000. Yeah. So 20,000 is possible by the end of the year.
And he can beat you with his legs, but then he tried to throw it to Schoonmaker. Didn't happen.
All right, let me get a football game on.
Joey, you jumped to Clemson, North Carolina. It's on ABC. I got to pop out for a minute. I'll be back in a little bit.
Okay.
You're going to have to bounce
me.
me
Let me find it here.
I don't want to leave and shut the show.
I will. Yeah.
I will return, though. I will.
Okay.
Jonathan, JJ McCarthy was trying to find an open receiver, and he was trying to give his receivers an opportunity to get open. So he improvised by using his legs and tried to wait as long as he could. Just wasn't able to complete the throw there.
Okay, so the score of this game is 14-7. Clemson's leading. They're getting ready to kick off to North Carolina, though, because they just scored. So
3rd and 13. Let's see.
We're at commercial break on the Clemson North Carolina game. So tune in next week.
I would like to see Matt Weiss call a play action here.
Yes, Mountaineer Lair. Yes, Mountaineer Lair. We lost the basketball game by 10. We just got so sloppy at the end. We dominated that whole game. As you know, we were ahead 10, 11, 12 points pretty much constantly throughout the whole game. And then they went on a run, tied it up, and then after that, they just started two-balling us to death. We got sloppy, kept turning it over, and they just scored 2 off of it. Ended up beating us by 10.
Ronnie Bell barely missed that. Went through his fingers. That would have been an incredible catch.
Still a commercial here, as always.
Luckily, we have the best punter in the Big Ten.
So, because USC lost last night and number 4, and TCU lost today and number 3, there is a great chance TCU gets in. I mean, there is still that chance.
I don't think so.
I don't see it. I don't think they will either.
I don't know why they would.
Yeah, I just don't think I
think Alabama's just too big a brand. They're gonna make a few different calculuses, like number 1, who brings in the most money, and the ratings. Number 2, who's gonna sell tickets. Number 3, if you hypothetically said who wins between Alabama and TCU, who's gonna win? Alabama 8 out of 10 times. For those reasons, I think they're going to put Alabama in over TCU.
Well, I'm pretty sure that they're going to put Ohio State back in there.
Yeah.
So Ohio
Yep.
State back in.
They're back.
That's a definite. It's just that
They got to sit at home. They got to sit at home on their laurels. They just got whooped at Columbus, and now they're still going to be in the playoff. Isn't that great?
But now, if you think about this, John, you got to remember that TCU was undefeated, right? They lost in the conference championship.
Yep.
So really, on a neutral site, they lost in overtime on a neutral site to a top 10 team. A top 10 team. That may save them. That may put them in the playoffs, knowing that they were playing a top 10 team on a neutral site and lost in overtime.
Yeah. I think they had to win the game. But you never know.
No, you never know what the committee's going to decide. I'm like you. They're going to go after the money, and that's going to be Ohio State and Alabama. So they're going to go after the money and stuff.
Kenny, it's 7-7 Michigan, Purdue. And Michigan just stopped them, so they're going to have to punt. Purdue's going to have to punt. Michigan will get the ball back, so that's good.
Go Purdue, the other golden blue. They're not golden blue, though, are they? What are they? Golden black, right?
Yeah, I think golden black. Although they might call them something different, like we call it maize and blue.
Yeah. So Alan says Georgia will play TCU and Michigan will play Ohio State in round 1. So that's a possibility. It don't matter who plays Georgia, to be honest with you. Georgia's going to stomp whoever they play. I know that Johns don't believe that because Michigan's undefeated too. But come on, that team's really damn good.
TH3. So the reason I think TCU should, please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I think TCU should get in. I'm saying I think the committee is going to look at money and revenue and brand over maybe the resume aspect. Because I think if it were up to me, I'd put TCU in, absolutely.
So Clemson defense is swarming. They just sacked a quarterback for North Carolina on 1st and 10. So it's going to be 2nd and 14 now. They're at the 50-yard line.
Also, I think Michigan has punched their ticket, and Georgia had punched their ticket even before the game. I think regardless, they were both in. Michigan has the best win in the country. 12-0. Georgia beat Tennessee. 12-0 also.
Looks like they gained about 3 yards on 2nd and 14. So 3rd and long. I don't know how long yet it says. Well, they're saying 8. Looks a little bit longer than 8.
Well, TH3, keep in mind that we're about to go to the 12-team playoff, which means that the conference champions will get the byes. They'll get the top 4 the spots. So it is going to be a lot different when we go to the 12-team playoff.
North Carolina got the first down.
Purdue got a great catch there. They had a play fake to Jones. Great receiver. Obviously not.
Second down and about 7 now coming up. 2nd down and about 7 now coming up for North Carolina. They're moving the ball real well. Clemson can't seem to stop them. So they're down to the 29-yard line. 2nd and 6. And Clemson's leading 14-7. But North Carolina's driving. All right, shotgun, drop back. And he's going to have to scramble and run, and they're going to get him. They sacked him for a 2-yard loss.
Wow.
I was going.
This isn't good if Purdue gets their pass game going, which they are
Alan
right
says
now.
he was going by what. Alan says he was going by what was said during the Georgia LSU game. I don't know what he's talking about there. Mountaineer Lair says, I beg to differ. TCU had the hardest schedule out of all the teams in the country. Oh no, I don't think so.
You got some data to back that up? Yeah, Iowa State's a really terrifying opponent there.
Yeah, and West Virginia was really terrifying this year too. So, so yeah.
I mean, if you have a strength
honestly,
of schedule ranking, you can back that up. I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, there's nothing going to back it up. Maybe preseason it looked that way because they're going to automatically say Oklahoma and Texas are going to be top teams, and so yeah, maybe preseason it looked that way that TCU was going to have the schedule. Nobody expected Oklahoma State to drop off like they did. Everyone expected Iowa State to be better than they are. Everyone expected West Virginia to be better than they are. So I think that maybe preseason, yeah, it did look that way. But now, no.
TCU.
Not that the Big 12 is a bad conference. It's just there's too much polarity there. Everybody's kind of equal in the Big 12, and so yeah, there's no way that they played the toughest schedule. John saying SOR was number one. Strength of record. TCU's schedule was actually kind of ridiculous, sort of ridiculous. Johnson says, "Why is it so hard to beat Purdue?" Yeah, why is it so hard to beat Purdue, John?
Because they're spooky. No, because they have a really good offensive play. Braum is he pulls out all the stops for a game like this. I think Aiden's playing with a lot of heart, obviously a lot of emotion. But at the end of the day, like when you call soft zone coverage, a receiver like Jones is going to find the weak spot and be there to catch the ball. And that's what they've been doing so far. And the one area Michigan has been weak is defending against that type of ball, like the deep ball. And you can kind of cover that up with pass rush, but our pass rush hasn't exactly been great this year. We don't have an Aiden Hutchinson, and we have players out too, so it doesn't help.
Mountaineer led McKinney. Look at the top 10 teams. They had stronger wins. No, the only top 10 team that TCU faced this year was today in Kansas State, and they faced him twice. And they beat them once and they lost to them once. So it's kind of a wash.
All right, let's put this to bed now. Here's their schedule. Colorado, they suck. Tarleton, who are they? SMU, unranked. Oklahoma, they haven't been very good. Kansas, come on now. Oklahoma State, okay, we'll give you Oklahoma State. Kansas State, we'll give you that one. West Virginia hasn't been good. Texas Tech hasn't been good, hasn't been great. Texas, Baylor, and the very terrifying Iowa State. So I don't know.
Not a good
Joey,
schedule.
do you know a lot of teams in there that look very elite?
No. No. Kansas State and TCU are the two best teams in the conference by far. And then you have to drop off to Texas. And when you're saying you're dropping off to Texas, that's a pretty damn big cliff too. Because Texas is not a great team. So yeah,
Meanwhile, Michigan, to the person who asked, well, why would you keep Michigan? And well, Michigan has had 2 top 10 ranked wins. Penn State is, I think, number 8, and Ohio State's number 5. So compare that to TCU.
It's I mean, I'm not saying that Michigan plays a tough schedule at all. But they have played 2 top 10 teams, and
Correct.
maybe the rest have been cakewalks. But the 2 top 10 teams, beating 2 top 10 teams, kind of gets you in the playoffs.
Penn State is a good win, Bo Stacker. It's absolutely a good win. The committee has them ranked 8th. And they beat Auburn. They've blown out teams. Well, I understand what you're saying, but I'm just talking. I'm literally just talking the committee rankings. They're 10-2.
So Kenny, because we beat each other up, that's what I'm saying. Though there's a lot of polarity in the Big 12 conference to where we are. You're right. We are beating each other up. But what does that say about the conference? When the top team in the conference is undefeated and the bottom team in the conference has 1 win, and the top team in the conference has struggled against everybody in the conference, so you can't say it's an elite conference. I mean, I'd like to say it. Believe me, I would love to be able to say the Big 12 is an elite conference, but it's not right now. It's a good conference. Is it better than the ACC? Yeah, that's better than the ACC. There's not. I think if you take West and put them in the ACC, they might win the ACC. They would probably finish 2nd or 3rd. I really do believe that. So
Joey,
there's a difference there. So ACC, yeah.
Real quick, Purdue just kicked a 33-yard field goal, so they're up 10-7.
All right, 10-7 Purdue. Man, I tell you what,
I'm fine with that.
Now
Michigan's been a second-half team all year.
It's same things happening in the Pac-12. The same things happening in the Pac-12. They beat up on each other all year long, and you've got 2 or 3 really good teams at the top: USC, Oregon, and Utah. Other than that, and Utah's got what, 3 losses? USC's got 2 losses. Oregon's got 2 losses. So, yeah, it's just not any elite teams in the Pac-12 either. So, I think the only elite teams this year are Michigan, Ohio State, Georgia, and TCU. And I'm not saying TCU's elite. I don't think they are. I just think that they are probably the best of the remaining teams. If you look, they're probably the best shot, the best shoe-in for the playoffs.
A single win, Penn State. Well, they beat Auburn. They didn't just beat them; they thumped Auburn, and they've been blowing out pretty much everybody. Michigan State, they've been blowing them out. So the only 2 teams they've lost to are us and Ohio State. That's pretty good. It's pretty decent season. Thank you, amazing blue guy.
Will Johnson equals future superstar for Michigan.
He's great.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
5-star pickup.
Yeah. And John Marzullo with the $5 super chat says, you didn't just say WG would finish 2nd in the ACC when they lost to Pitt. Big 12 is good, but come on, Joey. Well, that's true. Yeah. I mean, but I think the Pitt loss, they didn't lose to Pitt. They beat themselves. That they would have beat Pitt, and they just beat themselves. So, yeah, I think West Virginia could be a top 2 or 3 team in the ACC. Even a top 2 or 3 team in a conference can lose to a bottom feeder. Yeah, you want case in point. Look at Baylor; they lost to West Virginia this year.
Yeah, I think Auburn's a decent.
Both says Auburn. Auburn, come on! They fired.
I think Auburn's a decent win.
Terrible.
Yeah, they've been struggling, but we always hear all this time about the SEC just means more. Well, Penn State thumped them, and
Jonathan says Penn State also beat Purdue.
Yeah, they beat Purdue. Any team, in my opinion, that goes over 9 wins in the meat grinder of the Big Ten East that's a good season. Big Ten East is one of the hardest divisions in football.
Clemson just made a big play, sacked the quarterback, and they threw a flag. I think they're going to get him for a horse collar because the quarterback was outside the pocket. If he's in the pocket, you can do a horse collar. If he's outside the pocket, you can't. Oh, they're calling a face mask. I don't think he had his hands on his face mask. I'm going to watch the replay here. I want to see this. No, he didn't have his hands near his face mask. It was a horse collar, though. But they got him for a face mask. There's no face mask there. Not really that much of a horse collar, if you ask me. He had him by the side of the shirt. What now?
All right, let's see if JJ McCarthy can.
I might turn the volume up and see what's going on because they called a penalty. Then they reversed it. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. Now he said they declined the penalty, but no, they didn't decline it. They accepted it.
There we go. Donovan Edwards starting to find little holes. All he needs is little holes in the O line, and he can go. And this was his first, semi decent run for 7 yards. As the defense of Purdue wears down, Edwards is going to find more open lanes, and that's what happened against Ohio State. In the second half, he went off.
So Ted Murray has got a statement for me. Tom Herman and Charlie Strong are favorites of yours. One will never get a big time job, and the other was forced to FAU. Okay, I agree with that, but all I said was that Charlie Strong understands the culture at West Virginia. He was a great coach at Louisville. I don't know why you forget that. Louisville had top 5 teams when he was there. I mean, they had chances for national championships while Charlie Strong was there. Tom Herman did the same thing at Houston. I mean, he put Houston on the map as far as like the current map. Dana is taking them off of it quickly, but Charlie Strong and Tom Herman are good two strong candidates for any job. I guarantee you that Tom Herman got a call about some of these other coaching vacancies like Auburn and Nebraska and Wisconsin. He just didn't get the job, but I guarantee you he got the call. So
he called a national championship winning. I can't even believe I'm saying this, but a national championship winning offense with Ohio State. His Texas years were solid. Of course, he was going to get a call. And I think this is a great rebuild job for it, as in career rehab for him, because if he does well at FAU, look at Lane Kiffin. He won some championships at FAU. Then he moves on up.
Yeah. Now I love West Virginia's athletic director hire. I really do.
Big catch, Ronnie Bell. We love Ronnie Bell.
I think that I think Win Baker is going to be a great AD, and they're going to be able to get any coach that's out there next year because of Win Baker. And now,
what do you think,
are we going to need him? I hope not. I hope not. I hope we don't need him.
What do you think Win Baker brings to the table? Specifically, a couple of the things that you think that will help out.
I think it's just number one, his ability to raise money and raise funds.
That's
it's going to help NIL. That's going to help the university. It's going to help with coaching. Because our coaching staff, like I've been saying, we need to pay our assistant coaches more money. You want better assistant coaches, you better give Neil Brown some more money because he can't afford to hire them right now. So I think that's going to be first order of business for him. He'll come in and evaluate that and say, wait a minute, $3.5 million for assistant coaches? Wait, that's a Texas State salary there. So no, I think he'll change that really quickly. So that'll help be able to hire some coaches.
Yeah.
And I just think there's going to be a big turnaround. I really do. I think the culture is going to be completely different. Shane Lyons did not have a great culture at West Virginia within the athletic department. So,
well, also maybe do you think there's a little piece of them that's like, all right, we'll keep Neil Brown another year because obviously we've had a lot of other changes going on. We'll keep Neil Brown, and then maybe Jimbo Fisher comes open
Oh
after that.
no, come on.
If it continues to, you don't think Jimbo
No,
Fisher?
I don't.
If the stars
I don't
align,
want Jimbo.
you don't want
Come
him?
on.
Okay.
Jimbo Fisher can't win. He can't win with 5-star recruits and 4-star recruits at Texas A&M, and we want him at West Virginia. What planet are people on? I mean, I love Jimbo Fisher. Believe me, I think he's a great supporter of West Virginia and stuff. But come on, and no, he don't need to be the head coach.
I don't like settling for a field goal here. I really don't. And he didn't get it. Oh, but there's a flag.
So
that's surprising. Moody usually makes a 48-yarder.
Bob G is coming in the chat with us.
Oh,
what do you say, Bob? How are you doing, buddy? Can you hear us, Bob?
Hey, Bob.
Bob, are you there?
Hey, Bob. He might need to work on his receiver. Can you hear us?
Yeah. All right, let me.
Oh, snap. They're going for it now because now it's there's a penalty. So it went from 4th and 6 to 4th and 1. And, ooh, they got it.
Let's see if he comes back in with us.
Let me just say one thing. We just put in a linebacker, Khalil Mullings, to go 4th and 1 right up the gut, and then he got it.
Oh, linebacker, huh?
Literally a linebacker run.
Y'all got a refrigerator Perry on your team.
Khalil Mullings has been training with the running backs the last week or so because what they're trying to do, given the fact that Blake Corum is out, they're trying to get that power back, like we had with Hassan Haskins last year.
So North Carolina ended up missing a field goal. It got blocked and stuff. So Clemson's got the ball, and now it's 2nd and 1. They gained 9 yards on their first. Now they just got a first down. So Clemson's got the ball back and driving. So let's see what the chat's saying. Ted Murray says, I'm working on a 2nd edition of Inside the Scoop of football betting. Would love to come on your show to discuss playoffs. Well, Ted, I'd love to have you on. I really would. So email me. I will put, let me find my mouse. I'll put my email in here.
Oh, there goes Donovan. Donovan Edwards gets a first down. I was telling you, like a couple minutes ago, Joey, he's going to start finding the lanes and he's going to start getting some more yards here.
Ted, now there's a way to get on. You can email me, and maybe we can set up something to schedule you in. We'll talk and see. But another way you can come in is you can join our Patreon page for less than $2 a month. And the StreamYard link's there, and you're always welcome to come in here and talk about anything you want to talk about. You want to talk about your poll rankings or whatever, that's fine, So so that's all you gotta do is just join Patreon. Like I say, you can email me and we'll see if we can set something up. As long as you've got a channel that is growing and stuff, we love to support new channels. It's what we do here on Golden Blue Dude. We want to support everybody.
Absolutely.
I have no idea what is going on in this Clemson, North Carolina game because it seems like I watched something and they call something else. I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's like, I don't know if I'm missing some penalties or what. Because he made a big long pass and gets down for a touchdown. But they're saying he's down at the 3-yard line.
Oh, Jonathan, you're ahead of me.
Yeah, he's short.
And JJ McCarthy gets a touchdown. Schoonmaker with the catch. Schoonmaker has been great for us this year. Obviously, Eric Auld went down in the first game, had season-ending surgery. Unfortunately, we hope he comes back next year, but Schoonmaker has stepped right up, another super experienced tight end, and he's taken on that baton really well. And Colston Loveland, as a freshman, has looked amazing as the backup tight end.
So it's looking like Clemson is going to be down at the 1 yard line. It looks like they're short of the goal line. And man, that was a hell of an effort by the wide receiver. It was a great catch, great throw, and they're still reviewing it. I don't know why they're still reviewing it. He's short by about a half yard.
Justin, I have YouTube TV, so, but it's all good.
Okay, here they go lining up.
It's all
okay,
good.
Here they go lining up.
Alan says, I really hope that West Virginia starts being really good again in football. I agree. I want them to be. I don't know if Neil Brown can do it, but we'll see. I hope he can.
All right, snaps back up to the running back. No, it's a fake. Bootleg. They bootlegged it, and Clemson got a touchdown. Bootleg by the quarterback.
There it is.
So,
very nice.
The touchdown, Clemson.
I think Clemson's going to win.
Tell us this, Joey. Get out your crystal ball. Who starts at quarterback for WVU at Penn State, September 2023? Oh man, my crystal ball has to be with it's got to be with Garrett Green. Here's the thing about it though: is JT Daniels going to come back? Is he going to call it quits? Is he going to transfer? Is he going to come back? Because JT Daniels may beat him out. And, so you don't know. I think if JT does not come back, though, I think Garrett Green's the quarterback. And if JT comes back, it's going to be a battle between him and Garrett Green, I believe. So anyway, Clemson scored. It's 21-7 now. Clemson in the lead. I actually didn't see that. I took North Carolina in this game to win straight up. And still could happen. It's still early. Where does Clemson backup quarterback go now? Yeah.
Lots of
places.
I
seen a thing today. I seen one today that was transferring, and I don't remember who the hell it was. Transferring for the 5th time.
Wisconsin needs a quarterback. Just a thought. There are a lot of teams that are a quarterback away from doing something.
Yeah, exactly, Salas. We have no idea if JT was hurt. I mean, if JT was hurt, that might be why he didn't start the last 2 games. So if he's not hurt, then okay, maybe Garrett Green can beat him out next year. But then again, if JT Daniels battles, he may win him out. So who knows what JT's going to do here?
Jonathan saying JJ's having a good game tonight. I agree. He's doing well. I think he's doing a lot better with reading coverage. I think he's doing better with finding the open receiver, communicating with his receivers when he has to improvise. Because Purdue's been bringing the heat. Purdue's been bringing guys. And he's had to a couple of times get out of the situation and find an open tight end or whatever, or Ronnie Bell. But the receivers are doing great too. Ronnie Bell's had a good one. Schoonmaker's pretty much automatic with his catches. Loveland, so that helps as well when you have good receivers.
Let me ask you something, Chad. How great it is to have John here. I mean, John's amazing. He's real smart. He understands football, number one, but knows all the players and stuff on Michigan's team and can give us a good play-by-play analysis. I love having John here with us.
Thanks.
Alex says, good question on JT. Who knows? We don't even know if he was hurt. JJ, okay, let's get back down here. Depends on transfers. My guess would be Garrett Green starting, Nico playing quite a bit. See, I agree with that. I think Nico's proved that he can play too. And we know that he's the future of West Virginia. Well, at least we say he is. I'm sure the coaches are probably thinking that. So, what do you do with Garrett Green and Nico? I think Garrett's where you got to go. He's going to be the starter next year. But I agree, Nico will be playing some. And if Nico can show that he can move the ball and, take control of the offense, there's a possibility he could beat Garrett Green out. Kenny says it's Nico's to lose, in his opinion.
Tim
Mark
the Tap
he
Man,
likes,
Florida State's backup, yeah.
yeah.
Tim the Tap Man. What do you think Cade McNamara will do at Iowa? Well, there's still a lot of question marks about that. They got their guy at quarterback, but they need their guy at OC because Brian Ferentz ain't it. And rumor has it that Kirk is trying to set his kid up with a job at the NFL, making a couple $100,000 to sit around with a clipboard and tinker with some things. It's nice having buddies in the NFL to just hook your kids up with easy jobs. So that's probably what's going to happen. And then you bring in a Josh Gaddis who knows Cade, and he can bring in that offense and modernize it. Or you find somebody. Paul Christ is available. Paul Christ, who is obviously kept Wisconsin at 9-10 win team. Got them to the Big Ten West, gotten the Big Ten every, a lot of years. And I think he could come in. So I think it comes down to the OC and Cade needs a run game. He can't do it all himself. He is not going to Aaron Rodgers you in any way
So
a win.
I'm sorry. So Silas says he's sorry to Alan. I was trying to correct the text and I accidentally timed you out. So
yeah, it was
Alan,
just a mistake.
Alan,
Yeah,
that is so easy.
messed
That's
up.
so easy to do.
Yeah,
it is. It's so easy to do. God, I hate doing that. I time people out sometimes and it just really aggravates me. You don't mean to do it. I timed somebody out one day and they left. Come to find out, I go in like Pigskin Pete later and Uncle Lou, and they're like, "Why was you timing him out?" I'm like, "I didn't even know I did time him out. I didn't realize I did it."
I have a secret to tell everybody. Mods are regular people too, human beings that make mistakes. I make them all the time over at Voice of College Football, and if I do, I apologize. I make it right, and that's what y'all are doing in the chat right now. So it's great stuff. But
Justin, no, he's not blocking him. It was just an accident. So he didn't block him. He said he timed him out. If you blocked him, be sure to let me know so I can go in there and unblock him. Yeah, and Silas got all thumbs on his phone. Yeah, I do that all the time, Silas.
That is a good opportunity for me to plug. Voice of College Football. I'm on the Sunday night show. I moderate College Football After Dark. So we do every Sunday night. We talk about the games. We talk about what's happened, analysis, predictions for the next week. So I've been doing that. I've also been doing D4 Sports, and we've been doing the Michigan review preview shows. So it's been a great season doing stuff.
All right, so I'm watching this Clemson North Carolina game, and I can't hear the announcers and what's going on. But I want to tell you right now, there was some pass interference going on just now.
Really?
I think they might have called it. Clemson's been doing it a lot. Clemson's been doing a lot of pass interference. Every time I see them, they're arriving early, and
that's
a lot
weird.
of them haven't been called.
Uncharacteristic.
I think this one got called. Yeah,
you're talking about DPI, right?
Yeah, because
that's weird. Under Venables, that defense was incredibly well disciplined.
Yeah, so I still don't know what's going on. They shot the commercial. It's 1st and 10 Clemson, so I assume they called a pass interference. But Then they went to commercial for some reason, so maybe it's being reviewed. I have no idea.
Okay, Purdue.
Kenny, good night, buddy.
Good night, Kenny.
Hate to see you go. Stick around. Yeah, stick around with us. Hang out. So in case you weren't here earlier, West Virginia lost to Xavier in basketball by 10 points. Drops them to
sorry about that.
6-2 on the year. Still a good team. Don't think West Virginia's a bad team. They dominated that game all the way throughout. And then Xavier came on strong at the end, and West Virginia started turning it over. They looked like they was getting tired of me. So, and listen, that's typical of West Virginia in the Big 12. We got to travel a lot.
Pass
There's a lot of
rush.
places we have
Here
to
it is
go,
again.
And the players
Sorry.
are tired.
We just got a big sack there. Harrell. That's his second, isn't it? Jalen Harrell, second sack. I've been critical of Michigan in the early part of the season with the pass rush. Just wasn't like it was with Aiden Hutchinson and Ojabo, but these guys are coming into their own now. And now they're back Purdue up to 2nd and 16.
But now, Purdue's got what, 3 losses? Or 4?
4. They're 8-4.
4 losses.
Yeah, because the Big Ten West is kind of a joke.
So if the Big Ten West is kind of a joke, do you think it's right for Michigan to be struggling against Purdue right now?
Well, Michigan has played teams close in every first half. And then in the second half, they blow it up. That concerns me.
All I'm saying is that like everybody talked about, LSU should be in the playoffs, and they were a 2-loss team. And Georgia didn't waste any time showing anybody in the country who the best team in the country was today. They totally dominated LSU.
The score is 14-10 Michigan.
So that's why I'm wondering, now if Michigan can score and then, they might, I think they got to win by a little bit to tell me something. I don't think they can win by barely winning. They need to win by 14 points.
Well, I think what's going to happen is either Michigan will be up by 3 or Purdue will be up by 3 at the half, and then Michigan blows it, but then Michigan blows it open like they have been every second half in every game, and it'll probably wind up being like 40-20, something like that.
All right, so North Carolina's got the ball, and it's 1st and 10. He's throwing it deep. No, he didn't throw deep, but he threw a middle pattern. He's going to get a good yard. Down to the 25-yard line. North Carolina down to the 25-yard line.
Oh, really? North Carolina.
3:58 to go in the half.
North Carolina's. I mean, I've been critical of their defense. Their offense has been all right.
Well, I just think North Carolina's playing better ball than Clemson is right now. Yeah. But it's not showing today. Clemson's winning 21-7. North Carolina's moving the ball right now. They're down to 25, so they can score here, and it'd be a game again. But
I think Clubnik makes it a real challenge.
This Clemson defense, man, they can't stop a run. North Carolina's just running the ball right down their throat. It's 10, 12 yards every carry.
The thing with Aiden O'Connell, guys, people are saying, well, Purdue shouldn't be playing us this close. I mean, like I said, Michigan has been every first half has been tight, and O'Connell is giving us his best punch right now. Purdue's giving us their best punch right now. They're playing with a lot of heart. They're playing with a lot of emotions. His brother passed away, so there's a lot of emotions going on there. But I will say, I think it's starting now. The cracks are starting, just like they did with Ohio State last week. Cracks are starting to emerge, and the more talented team is starting to show just a little bit. because the defense
So North
just
Carolina
stopped
just run the ball again. North Carolina just run the ball again down to the 2-yard line. So North Carolina looks like they're going to go fast. It looks like nope, they're going to huddle. But anyway, North Carolina looks like they're getting ready to score. 21-6 Clemson or 21-7 Clemson. And somebody asked me, "Did you guys beat Xavier this evening?" No, Steve, we did not. We lost by 10. Dominated the whole game and then just fell apart. We got tired. And that's one thing I was talking about a while ago. Playing in the Big 12, a lot of travel, man. You're going all over the place. And I think our basketball players are tired already. So it looked like it at the end of that game today. We did not
Purdue
look
just
like
kicked
the same team.
Purdue just kicked the 45-yard field goal to make it 14-13. Now Michigan will get the ball. And I'm hoping they can make it at least 17-13 or 21-13 for the half, but we'll see.
So let everybody know we're only 88 subs away from hitting 12,000. So if you're not a member of Golden Blue Dude, be sure and hit the subscribe button.
Absolutely. And if you have a question for us, you have something that you want to go to the top of the queue, send us a super chat. Because sending a super chat will guarantee it's going to be shown on the screen. We'll talk about it. So if there's a burning question you want to just bring to the top of our attention, send in a super chat.
Yeah, please remember that we're running several streams. Like I'm watching the North Carolina Clemson game here, and I'm watching the Michigan game behind me, and then he's running the Michigan game. We don't see all the chat. We try to. I'm trying to pay attention to chat, but if you super chat, it automatically goes up on the screen, so it guarantees you. Plus, I've got 100 text messages coming in right now, so give me just a second, and I'll be right back.
Mark, Not much confidence in Harbaugh's 2-minute drill. I have a lot of confidence this year in Harbaugh's 2-minute drill. I think what's been happening the last 2 years is Harbaugh has really improved in that department. I mean, part of it is all of his assistant coaches have improved. I think the person who really had trouble with the 2-minute drill was Josh Gaddis. Because I think when Josh Gaddis was calling the offense, it was a lot of slow developing plays, especially in the run game, reverses and flea flickers, and just a lot of slow developing things. You saw it a lot in the Georgia game, especially if you watch the Georgia playoff game where we got our butt whooped. There was a lot of that. We haven't really seen that this year as much, which is good. Yeah, Max Duggan is a real tough customer, man. He's going to do great things wherever he goes. He's going to do great things.
Sorry, guys, I'm trying to answer.
Basically, the only reason that game was even close was because of Max Duggan. He willed that team back from a deficit and almost, it was, I think, a poor play call decision by the coach. I think they should have done a quarterback sneak, as does a lot of people. Or at the very least, kick the freaking field goal so you can stay in the game.
Sorry, guys, I've got somebody messaging me about a Patreon membership, so I'm trying to help them out. Okay.
Hey, yeah, that's awesome. Tim the Tap Man, I think Purdue is going to beat Michigan. Well, I respect your opinion. I respectfully disagree. I think Michigan's going to pull away comfortably in the second half. And they might even get a couple more points here. We'll see. Oh, Edwards with a nice catch. there's been a lot of talk about Edwards not really being able to do much with his hands because of his injury. So I think that's a good sign for the playoffs so he can make those catches.
Okay. All right, I think I'm back. All right. I guess GBD is going to start up the realignment trash again since the season is ending. I don't watch his videos anymore. I just come here for live feeds. Well, Bo, the thing about it is me and him talked about that. And the conference realignment scenarios, the different scenarios that could happen. Nobody's saying it's going to happen. Probably none of them are going to happen. But people love those.
Yeah.
And we get a lot of compliments. We get a lot of compliments and a lot of views on those videos. We could put out we could have put out a video about Michigan and Purdue and maybe got 3,000 or 4,000 views. But we put out a conference realignment video and get 12 or 15,000 views. So they just love it. And so I'm like you. I don't understand why, but that's what they like. So.
Yeah, people are really into anything related to conferences, realignment, what's going to happen, that kind of speculation. I guess we're punting. Now this punter we have, Robbins, he was a Ray Guy finalist last year, and I think he's going to be a finalist and maybe a winner this year. I saw him live, so I went to the Big House to watch a game live about 2 weeks ago, the Illinois game. It was a 10-degree wind chill. Nobody could feel their feet. It was like icicles. But I will say this, I saw this man punt, and seeing him punt live is a thing of beauty.
So Fatty says that's kind of rude. Oh, I didn't mean to be rude. If I was rude in what I said, no, I didn't mean to be rude at all. I was just saying that's the conference realignment videos. I mean, people seem to love them. And I know there's a lot of people that don't. And like I say, I'm one of them. I don't like them. But the different scenarios, they are kind of interesting. So I don't mind hearing about different scenarios that could possibly happen at some point in the future. But I'm like y'all. I don't care for them constant thing right now. Salah says that grew the channel. Well, yeah, I mean that did help grow the channel. The Steve says the conference realignment videos with no rhyme or reason are hilarious. Exactly. I think that's why people watch them. It's just entertainment, guys. This isn't ESPN. This isn't Fox Sports. This is YouTube, and it's just entertainment. Now we do have some big plans for the off season that are completely different than conference realignment, and we think that you guys are going to enjoy it because we want to do something that's lasting, that always gets views, that's a lot of fun, that you guys will enjoy, and we've got some great ideas. So yeah, stay tuned in because after football season, you're going to see some of them videos start getting unleashed. I think you'll like them. USC fans saying Georgia is in trouble seems for not. Yeah. Drama gets clicks. Silas says drama gets clicks. Exactly.
Guys, the amount of hard work. I just want to say the amount of hard work that Joey and Golden Blue Dude put into the channel to grow this thing, the subscribers, a lot goes on behind the scenes that people don't really understand with respect to scheduling, with respect to coming up with content plans. It's not just like, hey, let's just go live and hang out. There's actually a strategy to it, and you don't get successful with it unless you have that. And so, just keep that in mind. Like these guys have been doing a great job. That's why I come on here.
Yeah, there's a lot to it that people don't understand because you can't, you can go, everybody says just go live and make videos. Listen, live shows don't make any money, and videos don't do anything if there's no content that's kind of funny, kind of crazy, kind of scenario type stuff. That's what grows the college football channel. Scenarios. Yeah. Hey, what if Michigan was to go to the playoffs and lose by 40 to Georgia? Hey, put that video out there and it's going to get 10,000 views. But if you tell them, hey, Michigan's going to have a great shot of beating Georgia, and here's why, you put that out there, it's going to get about 2,000 views. You'll be lucky if it gets 2,000 views, because most people don't believe that's going to happen. So there's a pattern to it.
If you talk about Ohio State and you talk about Michigan, that also helps. as I've noticed. But,
right, yeah, it does. Fatty says calling it trash, but each their own. Well, yeah, I mean, you can say that if you want to. We don't care. I mean, it's fine if that's what you want to call it.
But
bottom line, it's just entertainment. It's just for fun. The different scenarios are awesome to learn about. You can learn different things. Like, for instance, you'll learn other things too when you're talking about conference realignment, because we'll get into athletic budgets. We get into athletic, academics. So, when you're talking about budgets and academics, that has a lot to do with a team going to a conference. It's not just always that it's a great football program, so we're going to take them. No, the academics and all that have to line up with the conference and things. So it's great to learn how San Diego State would fit into the Big 12, or how San Diego State would fit into the Pac-12, just simply because of academics and culture and things like that. So, and that's what he goes over.
Yeah. Great stop there defensively to, they had to call a timeout, but it's looking like one more play for Purdue, and then we go into halftime.
So, Silas says, Joey, quit smoking. Yeah, I need to quit smoking. I wish I could. I agree. All right, so Dustin's in the back room. I kind of forgot about him. I see him come in a while ago and we were talking. Dustin, I apologize, buddy.
Oh, hey, Dustin.
No worries, man. No worries. I was just texting. I got some people that are join, or they're going to get on the live chat.
Nice.
In here or in the chat?
This one.
Yeah.
They're getting on this one. My roommate's having a work party for Christmas. She wanted me to go with her, but it's like, yeah, right. Michigan's playing.
Michigan's playing. Nowhere. But, people having work parties and Michigan's playing.
Yeah, in Michigan. Crazy. But I'm sure they got the game on.
They probably had the game on for sure. So how do you think? What do you think of the team so far?
Well, I kind of expected this, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, this is exactly what I expected Purdue to do.
Me too.
Like,
they're giving us their best punch in the first half. Aiden's playing with a lot of emotion. They got their yardage. Unfortunately, they're not as talented at any area of, except quarterback.
Yeah,
and maybe wide receiver. And so I think Michigan's going to be pulling away in the second half.
Yeah, like we've done all year long.
Every game, practically.
The most consistent team all year long.
Yep.
Other than the Illinois game.
How about Donovan? Donovan catching that ball. That was a good sign for the playoffs, I thought.
Clemson and North Carolina are going in for halftime. It's 24-10 Clemson right now at half.
Nice.
My buddy's at that game. I got a really good friend down in North Carolina when I lived down there. He's at that game. But yeah, no. So for this game, I expected us to, for Michigan, for what we came out to run the ball, establish, and try to punch them in the mouth. Not really doing it yet. I mean, we've got some semi-good runs. JJ, again, rocketing balls like he's John Navarre, where Ronnie Bell can't catch it.
Yeah, that was one time that I think he's been all right. I think he's looked pretty good. He's made some good runs. He did bang one to Ronnie Ball that completed, as well as one to Rowan Wilson that completed, and some others that were
I
They
think
were
that
not
one,
short.
the one they overturned, I don't that was a catch.
Yeah,
At least it was.
it was questionable.
It didn't
I mean,
have
the bobble,
It
the
didn't have
bobble.
enough.
So the beginning of it was a catch, but then when it hit the ground and it bobbled in the, it was.
He had
it
his
was
hand
50-50.
though. Well, he had his arm kind of under the ball when it moved.
Yeah,
So for them to overturn that was kind of shocking to me
yeah.
because it was kind of and I don't know if you heard him in the studio saying that they're taking so long with these reviews now to overturn something that they're not overconfident to overturn.
Right.
Like they're taking all this time. Like how long did that take? 3 minutes, 3+ minutes? Probably longer than
It
that.
was a lot. Yeah, and there was
It was
the
a
other,
lot.
the goal line review too that took forever.
Yeah, when it was clear like he was. I don't know. And these are our best Big Ten refs too, by the way.
True.
Like I like these refs. They usually do a really good game.
Yeah. I think you're going to start to see, one thing that Matt Weiss, offensive coordinator Matt Weiss, said in the press conference after Ohio State was he said, we didn't need to break out our best stuff.
Yeah.
We basically used basic packages like training camp 101 stuff, and it was enough to beat Ohio State. But they had stuff prepared for every scenario. And I think they may pull one or two of those things into the second half of this game so that we can pull
I
ahead.
hope they do. Like we were talking
Let me,
earlier about that.
Let me say something here real quick. So I want to remind everybody that tomorrow at 4:00, I'll do my show, my normal show at 4:00 tomorrow. And so Steve has a question for you guys. He says, so when does the Big Ten take advantage of the monetary situation and get better in sports than the Big 12? I think they're better in most sports than the Big 12 already. But seriously, when are you guys going to get better than the SEC? Y'all are making more money than them now.
NIL.
When are we going to get better than the SEC?
Yeah, and the Big 12.
It's tough.
The Big 12 is the question. When are y'all going to get better than the Big 12?
I think that NIL,
USC and UCLA coming in.
yeah,
That's going to be big.
USC, UCLA coming in, but also NIL is such a great equalizer because back in the day, the SEC, I mean, everybody knew they were handing bags to players. It's a thing that has been rumored for how many years. They were getting cars, they were getting all kinds of perks for joining SEC schools. And I think what you're gonna see with NIL is it's the great equalizer. Like JJ McCarthy and Blake Corum make 7 figures of NIL. So
and the thing I love about Blake, man, he's given all his NIL up.
Yeah,
he's handing basically 90% of his NIL money up.
Yep,
helping out communities, like
handing out turkeys.
Yeah, who was the guy that said he was handing out turkeys on crutches with a foot boot? Maybe he should have. Maybe he should have been because he wasn't. Maybe
he was just walking.
Patty says, "Let's hope we don't have 3 of the top 4 lose this weekend." So we've already had 2 go down. Michigan goes down. Yeah, that
Michigan's in. Michigan's in no matter what.
Yeah, Michigan's in no matter what.
I think TCU is still in. Jeff made the argument all day today. I understand it. Money. TCU whooped Texas. Alabama barely beat Texas by 1 point with Texas's quarterback out of the entire game, basically. He had 1 drive, I think, and then he was out. And they beat him by 1. And then there were 2 other games that Alabama barely skirted by to win. And then obviously they did lose 2 games, but those 2 games they lost were last possession, a field goal to kick or win the game, and then last possession to win the game. So I don't, I could see the committee putting Alabama in. I could, but I don't think it's going to happen I think
That'll
TCU.
take us to Allen. That takes us
think
to Allen's questions because he says why even expand the payoffs? Because ESPN will try to put Alabama and Ohio State in at 7-5 if they expand the playoffs.
Bo Stacker, I agree 100%. I don't like it either that the Buckeyes get a golden ticket to the playoffs.
Actually, that's Allen. That's Allen Aaron. Yeah, that's Allen Aaron saying that.
Oh,
Buckeyes.
Bo
We all know
Stacker,
the Buckeyes are
I
in.
just hate it that the Buckeyes get a golden ticket to the playoffs gifted to them.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I'm not a fan of that either, but unfortunately there's no one else at this point.
Why not put teams in? Why not put teams in that we already know? We already know that we don't know the results for. You know what I'm saying? So like we don't know what TCU would do against an SEC team, right? We don't know what they would do against Georgia. We don't know what Michigan would do against even a TCU team. We don't know that either. So why not make a case for that and say, okay, well, wait a minute, the Big 12 beat up on each themselves, and TCU beat Kansas State in the regular season and lost in the championship game. Let's give them a chance against an SEC and a Big 10 team. So
exactly.
And maybe they will. Maybe they will. Now, I'm not for this. I'm not for this repeat games. I think it's silly. Michigan and Ohio State have already played. We know the results of that game. And so why put them in? Alabama's already proved they can't beat a team that Georgia destroys. Alabama's proved that several times.
Unfortunately, they're going to put Ohio State in. That's why they ranked them at 5th. They're waiting for one team to slip up, and they had 3 teams slip up, or 2 teams so far slip up. But and I'm not worried. I'll play. You want to play Ohio State again? Okay, I'll play.
Yeah,
let's play them again. I don't give a shit. Let's beat them twice.
We'll beat them again.
So we can say, well, we beat them 3 times in 2 years, and then next year at the big house, we can say we beat you 4 times in 3 years. So whatever. I don't care. I'm not scared of that game. I just don't want to watch it.
Most Stacker says there's no reasonable argument to put Alabama in the playoffs over TCU, and there's not. There's not any reasonable argument.
Isn't. And look at the schedule. Look at their schedule. If that's what we're going to go with, and this too. Look, I wanted to say this. Why are we punishing teams that make it to a like they made it to a +1? Michigan is playing another game. Ohio State's sitting at home. TCU made it to another game. Everybody else sitting at home. Georgia made it to another game. Everybody else, Alabama, sitting at home. So why punish?
And speak of the devil, Nick Saban has now joined the Fox halftime show to discuss why Alabama should be in the playoff.
I'd love to hear this.
Yeah, of course he will. Of course he is. And Fox and ESPN and all these things, they cater to Alabama. They do. I get tired of it. I mean, sure, is Alabama a great team? Absolutely. Are they elite? You better believe it. But guess what? They've lost 2 games. They should not be in the conversation, just like anybody else that's lost 2 games this year. Same thing for LSU. They should not have been in the conversation, and that was proved today that they should not have been in the conversation.
So Saban's argument is basically if you matched Alabama up with any of these teams on the bubble, who would win? And if you're thinking of putting the 4 best teams in, just consider, who that would be. I understand he's made that argument before when he was in this position.
I don't think they're.
Yeah, but we don't know who would win. We don't know who would win between
their top 4 teams.
Alabama and TCU. We don't know.
Oh, he's saying Bryce Young's
all we know is it's a good game.
He's saying he would be favored, like Bama would be favored against like TCU.
Yeah, of course they would.
Bama would be favored against.
Give them a whole month off to get healthy and to coach up all them penalties that has killed them all year long in every game.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I could be wrong, but I really don't think Alabama's getting in. I think it's going to be TCU, Michigan,
I'd like it to be TCU. I hope you're right.
Michigan, Ohio State.
I hope you're right. I just have this feeling that we're waiting for this exact scenario to put
Possibly. I mean, and then if you're gonna do that, then what? What do we do? Because how are you gonna rank it now? So Ohio State just basically slipped. You can't put. There's no way you put Alabama at 3.
No,
Can you?
you would put
No
Bama
way.
at 4.
Exactly. So you got Ohio State at 3, Michigan at 2,
Yep.
Georgia at 1. So you got Georgia, Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State.
Yep.
Which I guess that's you want to see some rematches, and then I guess that's okay because you're going to have a Big Ten and an SEC opponent, at least in the final. But
Michigan has to
So,
whoop Purdue in the second half to get the number 1. I mean, they have to pound Purdue into the ground the second half.
And that would be the only argument, really. Like but I don't see that. Even if we do pound them, even we beat them, if we go and beat them by 35 points to nothing in the second half, the way Georgia manhandled LSU, we're not jumping them.
Yeah.
I want to say something real quick. A big shout out to Dr. Pepper. No, they're not a sponsor, but you know what? They do a great thing every year, sponsoring these football throws where these students get to play for $100,000 scholarship. Yeah, I mean, and they do that every conference championship game, and that's an amazing thing they do. So big shout out to Dr. Pepper for doing that.
You see,
Silas says, I hope Neil Brown has a Harbaugh style bounce back. Yeah, because Harbaugh was on the hot seat too, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He came back. So.
Well, remember,
I loved that. Everybody.
Remember that situation though. Is Neil Brown willing to overhaul everybody? So Harbaugh immediately fired Don Brown, and then he institutes the Stanford playbook, basically demotes Gaddis to a wide receiver coach, and here's 3 plays you can select from out of the Stanford playbook. Completely overhauled many different facets of put in Sharon Moore, which was huge. Brought Mike McDonald, who he called his brother, and his John Harbaugh, who said, you can have Mike McDonald or you can have Jesse Minter. He picked Mike McDonald, right? So is Neil Brown willing to do that?
Yeah, really.
And if he is, then let's see. Joey, what do you think Neil Brown would do that type of level overhaul like Harbaugh did in 2021?
I think he would. I think if the new athletic director will give him some money, there's going to be some major overhauls at West Virginia. I really believe that. He's got to have the money first. He's got to have the money. You don't have enough money to hire the good assistant coaches, so he has to settle. He has to settle for some of them that are considered his friends, and unfortunately, his friends are not Power 5 coaches. So yeah, I think that they give him some money, and it should be really interesting.
Yeah, he could overhaul that whole system and bring in exactly what you're saying, John.
Krista, yeah, we were just talking about Saban. Yeah, Saban is currently making the rounds to do the propaganda tour of why Alabama, 2-loss teams, should be in the playoff.
So let's say, all right, if we know this for a fact, if Oklahoma or Texas had TCU's record right now and had played the game today and lost in the conference championship as an undefeated team, and they lost to a team they had beaten in the regular season, and they were ranked the same place as TCU is right now, Oklahoma or Texas either one, would they get in the playoffs?
Yes, because they have a big brand.
Absolutely, they would be. Absolutely. So that's why TCU needs to be in there. Now, let me ask this question. Oklahoma and Texas are leaving the Big 12. What team in the Big 12 is left that would get in because of their brand?
Well, they need to bring in some new teams.
Are there any?
Oklahoma State.
What's the Oklahoma State?
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's it.
Maybe. I mean,
I'm trying to think, man. I can't even think.
West Virginia's got the biggest. So West Virginia's got the biggest fan base and the biggest television audience, West Virginia. But West Virginia's television audience is peanuts compared to Alabama and stuff. But what I'm saying is, so West Virginia and Oklahoma State are the two big brands left in the Big 12. And if they're in the same situation as TCU is right now, they're probably not going to get in, just like TCU.
Well,
But if it was
Cincinnati,
Texas and Oklahoma, they're in.
Cincinnati is coming, and they went to the playoff. So,
but the committee is different from last year. There's new members. You know that because we've got a Michigan guy on the board now.
Well,
yep.
I mean, it changes a lot, but
I know I talked to Mark about this with the Alabama thing, and we didn't see this weekend happening like it is. He said he would throw some tables and chairs if Alabama gets in. I still think he would.
He said that he would throw tables and chairs.
He said he would toss some tables or throw some tables if Alabama gets in.
Well, what if his Buckeyes get in and then also Alabama gets in?
Well, that's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, do you want to see Michigan Ohio State play again? And he said, well, I'm an Ohio State fan. I want to make the playoffs. So yeah, obviously, of course. And that's an obvious answer. But then I said, well, what about Alabama? He said, if Alabama gets in, I'm gonna throw some tables, toss some tables, or whatever.
So John makes a good point here. TCU getting in piques a whole different crowd interest, and it does. It piques a whole different crowd interest because
exactly. We don't know what they would do.
Yeah,
I want them in.
I would think. You know what? I think it wouldn't matter if you put TCU in, if you put anybody in, and they're going to face off against Michigan or Georgia, right? Whoever's serving for it. Either one of them games is going to get high television ratings. I don't care who it is. Now, mind you, if it's Ohio State and Georgia, is it going to get better ratings than TCU and Georgia? Yeah, probably so. But still, there's going to be a lot of money in that TCU Georgia matchup as well. So,
yeah, and bring it back to why, like we're punishing TCU for playing an extra game. And okay, if TCU would have went out today and got blown away, then okay, yeah, the argument's there. But they didn't get blown away. They lost in overtime.
It
almost looked like they were
players. The players didn't lose that game. The coaching lost that game. And that's unfortunate because Sonny Dykes is a great coach. But he lost that game today. Bottom line, he should have done a quarterback sneak. Why do you hand the ball off to a running back who's 5 yards deep? You got the ball on the 5-yard line.
I said that in Lifetime when it happened. When you line up under center like that, if you're gonna hand the ball off to somebody that's already up like four yards deep, why not take it in the shotgun, wait for your blocks to take place, and then he's already gave the ball off to the running back. So the running back can read the blocks and then make the run. Why take it out of center? Because now you're running in motion. You're handing it off to the guy, and he's got to go no matter what. He doesn't have any time to look or read any blocks, nothing like that. So if you're going to take it out of center, yeah, quarterback sneak that. Get your big boys in, run up, and pick your quarterback up and put him on your head.
Right. Throw this day and age of football. And everybody talks about this day and age in football. And here's a great thing about this day and age in football. It's legal now for you to push a player across the goal line. It's legal to push him. It's legal to pick him up and carry him for a few yards. Let him pick up some more yardage. It didn't used to be legal. You couldn't do that stuff. You can do that now. So everybody wants to talk about this day and age in football. Well, this day and age in football, he should have went for it on 4th down and 6 inches instead of handing the ball off 5 yards deep.
Yeah. If you're going to, like I said, under center, if you're going to do a play like that, you don't do it under center. Not today. Maybe 20 years ago. Or
I think you gotta do quarterback sneak in that situation.
In that situation, if you're going under center,
yeah.
And plus, it's like pull two, linemen or tight end, whatever. Get your guys behind you, fullback. Get your biggest guys out there and just bulldoze that line. Don't take it from center and then have your running back coming at 4 yards, which he's not reaching any speed whatsoever, really. Hand it off and then smash right in and lose. He lost, 2 yards?
Okay, here's another argument for TCU. All right, let's say in a regular season, they would have lost to Kansas State, and they would have played today for the championship at 11-1 instead of 12-0, okay? They would have played for the conference championship. And let's say today they beat Kansas State, where they lost in the regular season. Automatically, they would be in the playoffs because they would have probably been ranked probably 6th, maybe 5th, probably 5th or 6th as 11-1. If losing to Kansas State in the regular season, they would have been there. And then if they'd won today, they'd be in. So it's just the same difference. You just got to reverse it and say, okay, yeah, they lost they won in the regular season and lost in the championship this right now. But if it had been reversed, they would be in. So I think that I think that they're going to get in.
I hope you guys are right. I really think that would be better for integrity, better for putting in the teams that maybe deserve to be there. I have this piece of me that knows how our capitalist society works and knows how the committee has worked, and they value the money and the ratings, and so there is that little piece of me that's like, I could see Alabama getting in, but I hope y'all.
I'm right there too. Like I believe that too. I think that especially getting Nick Saban on. Why is Nick Saban on at halftime at a Michigan game, bidding his team to get into the playoffs right now?
Because somebody at Alabama's PR team made a call.
Do you think? No, I don't think so. I think you're wrong, John. I think you're wrong. I don't think it was Alabama. I think it was somebody in the playoff committee made a call.
You think so?
And said, hey, get in there and lobby for yourself. Oh, yeah, I really do. I think the playoff committee got him on here. Hey, John, I'm going to put your chat up here just a second because I like this. He says, Duggan getting in there may have been the Heisman moment, but instead they get stuffed and now may lose their chance at the playoff. That would be a next level rig job. I agree. Yes. Talking about TCU. Max Duggan.
Agree with that, John.
Max Duggan put that team on his shoulder today, and to deny him a chance of getting 6 yards, I didn't understand it at all. Just can't figure it out. I'm at a loss on it.
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know what
he was the one. He was the player that was basically single-handedly willing them to get back into the game and make it as close of a contest as it was.
What were they down? 11?
11,
right?
maybe.
Yeah. So they kick a field goal. They're down 8.
Yeah.
They stop them on defense. They come down and they score. And then they get this 2-point conversion to tie the game. And then their defense goes down and stops them and goes into overtime. And then, didn't show up.
And
in overtime.
Then another time they got right there 6 inches to go, man. I just can't figure it out. I don't understand it. I don't know if sometimes I look at things and I want to be a conspiracy theorist and say, hey, maybe they paid TCU to take a dive. Maybe the playoff committee paid TCU to take a dive. That's, sometimes I want to feel like that because I can't understand any coach with 4th down and 6 inches to go don't do a quarterback sneak. That you hand the ball off 5 yards deep makes no sense. I don't care how long you've been coaching. Sonny Dykes has been around a while, and I've watched Sonny Dykes for probably the last 15 years. That man's going to do a quarterback sneak. Yeah. In that situation, he's going to do a quarterback sneak 20 out of 20 times.
It was almost like that Super Bowl play when you should have gave it to the beast, and they throw that little
exactly. When we should.
We're about to start the second half of.
I gotta get off here, guys. It was nice getting on. I'll probably jump on if you guys are still on after the game.
Good to see you, man. As always.
Right. Love you guys. Sports channel.
Thanks, Dustin. John Mazzulla, thank you for the 499 super chat. He says, "Am I being a crazy Pitt fan, or does Mac Duggan remind you of Kenny Pickett? Kid just has so much heart." Yeah, he does. He does have a lot of heart. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. Kenny Pickett, probably a better overall quarterback, but as far as heart, yeah, they both have the same heart.
Yeah.
West Virginia guy says Deion Sanders, Colorado is official. Yeah, we knew that. Soldier Stories. Hey, Bo Stacker, Patty, Golden Blue Dude, John Mazzola. Okay.
Oh,
so
Donovan Edwards
telling
just
everybody
break.
hi.
Donovan Edwards is running almost all the way. Big run.
Hopefully he can turn them around.
That was a goal line set at the 20. And Donovan Edwards did an outside zone to the left and ran for like 50 yards. That was pretty impressive.
Bo Stacker says if the committee pulls another 2014, they lose all credibility. Yeah, I don't think they care. I think they want to do what they want to do. And who knows? Maybe somebody in there on TCU's side that lobbies for them and gets them in.
Yeah.
But boy, that committee, man, they want that money. They want that money in playoffs.
Yeah, where's TCU's where's Sonny Dykes on the halftime shows?
Yeah, don't see him out there, do you? Yeah, they didn't call him. That's why I say it's probably some kind of conspiracy. I hate to say that, but really,
got a pistol.
I mean, so Mason Blue guy, $5 super chat. Thank you, sir.
Yes,
let's go blue. Yeah, that's Blue. Right. Let's go Mountaineers. Go blue. Go Mountaineers. Yes.
But this is a very promising start of the second half for Michigan. They're driving 3rd and 2. They'll probably go back to Donovan here, get 3 yards. Although I also see Khalil Mullings back in, who's the converted linebacker that we've been using the last week or so. So,
and if anybody's wondering why I'm not talking about the North Carolina
Clemson
game, it's still 24-10.
Folks, we just had a linebacker not only get the 3rd and 2, but almost get a touchdown right there. So they're at like the 1 yard.
All right, so Bo Stacker wants me to explain what happened in 2014 for those that don't remember. Yeah, so Baylor and TCU were really, really good in the Big 12. All right, so here's how it happened out. Was that Baylor ended up losing to West Virginia and Morgantown. Baylor was ranked number 3 or 4 in the nation. They came to Morgantown. They ended up losing. That was their only loss of the season. In the Big 12 championship game, TCU was undefeated, but Baylor beat them. So Baylor had 1 loss, TCU had 1 loss, and they held them both out of the playoffs with 1 loss, putting them at 5-6, and put in a 2-loss team. Who was that 2-loss team they put in ahead of them? Do you remember in 2014?
2-loss team in 2014.
Yeah, I think it was a 2-loss team that got in ahead of TCU and Baylor.
Sorry, I was too distracted by the Khalil Mullings touchdown to put. So a linebacker just made a touchdown.
Let me go over that one more time. So you'll hear what I said. So in 2014, West Virginia beat Baylor. And that was Baylor's only loss. And then Baylor beat TCU in the conference championship game, which gave TCU their only loss. So both of them had 1 loss, and they put them at 5-6 and left them out of the playoff. And I'm pretty sure they put a 2-loss team in that year. And I may be wrong on that, but I think they put a 2-loss team in. And it had to do with money. It was all money. I can't remember the playoff selection in 2014.
So Ohio State was the cutoff, which was a 12-1 team.
Okay.
So Alabama 12-1, Oregon 12-1, Florida State 13-0, and then Ohio State 12-1. And then TCU and Baylor were on the outs.
Yeah. So they put dollar signs ahead of the Big 12 then, because if anybody remembers back then, TCU and Baylor were probably better than 3 of the top 4 teams that he just mentioned there that made the playoffs. Both teams were. I mean, they were really, really good. So
TCU didn't have a conference championship game. Is that what?
Right. They didn't win. Baylor had lost to West Virginia in the regular season, but then they played TCU for the conference championship and beat TCU. So Baylor won the Big 12 championship, but TCU and Baylor both just had one loss.
12 at that time didn't have a conference championship game. They did co-champions.
Right.
And
right. That's what it was. Co-champions. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
So Baylor beat TCU in the regular season then, not in the conference championship, and it's in the regular season. Right. You're right. They didn't have a conference championship. That's what held us out of not having a conference championship. They said we didn't have a conference championship, so they held us out. Now we have a conference championship, and it looks like it might hurt us too. So,
which is crazy.
Yeah. I apologize for getting that wrong. I wasn't thinking right.
It's good. I had to look it up. I mean, I knew it at one point, but I had to refresh my memory.
Yeah, 2014. It was hard. I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember exactly. He put me on the spot and told me to remind everybody what happened. That's what I thought, but yeah, we didn't have a conference championship game that held us out. Sorgy says my grandma really got me into college football in 2019, and I was 5 when that happened. So don't ask me. Oh, in 2014, yeah, he was 5. Okay, yeah. So Bo Cycle reminds us they dropped TCU from 3rd to 6th so they could put OSU in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But TCU lost to Baylor in the regular season. Am I right, Bo? And that's what hurt them. But then they still didn't put Baylor or TCU either one in.
Yeah. Baylor beat.
I cannot remember.
Baylor beat TCU 61-58.
Right, but they lost to West Virginia. Baylor lost to West Virginia.
Yeah. Well, we like to see this in the Michigan game, 21-13 now. This is kind of what I told you would happen, Joey, is Michigan starts to pull away a little, and then a little more, and a little more. Purdue has to make something happen with the passing game here to keep hanging with them.
Charlotte says 61-58, classic Big 12. Yeah, it was back then. If anybody remembers, I mean, 2012, West Virginia and TCU final score 70-63. And 2012, West Virginia, Oklahoma final score 58-56. And I mean, these are some high scoring games back then. All offense. I like high scoring games, but I like games with a lot of defense too. So, I'm just as happy watching Iowa and Minnesota as I am watching Baylor and Oklahoma.
All right. Michael Barrett has been consistent all year. Just held them now to the 3rd and 7. Purdue really needs to get something going in the pass game here.
Still 24-10. North Carolina's got the ball on the 50-yard line and dropping back to pass. And he's looking, he's scrambling, he's running, and he picks up 8 yards. So North Carolina picked up 8 yards there. So, but it's still 24-10. This game's been unremarkable. There's been nothing to say. So.
Oh yeah, Purdue's going to punt. So Michigan gets the ball back up 21-13, which is always good if you're rooting for Michigan.
Yeah, but John, you're saying something there. Baylor was top 5, and Ohio State lost at home to an unranked Virginia Tech. But Baylor lost on the road to West Virginia to an unranked West Virginia team. So, you know, how do you flip a coin there? So, yeah, you got to flip a
it's
coin.
tough. And Ohio State has such a big brand again. It's a tough call, man. That first year, I feel like there were years where it was easier because things just kind of lined up, and then there's years where you have a situation like you put in a 2016. They put in Ohio State, even though they didn't even get to the conference game. Penn State gets left out, but they had 2 losses. So it just goes to show you sometimes they put a team in for brand over maybe, having the, resume or conference win or whatever the case may be. So obviously then they get blown out 31-0 by Clemson, which was very enjoyable for us Michigan fans.
So Story says, when we did really well under Holgerson and Will Greer is when I got into WVU football, because
Nice.
It's all my grandma would talk about. And then I started to love Wisconsin because of my dad's connections to the radio network. Yeah, because Stories, is got connections to the radio network for Wisconsin. Stories, you're a great young man. You root for who you want to root for, and I know you're a West Virginia fan, and I know you're a Wisconsin fan, and they don't play each other, so it's okay to root for both of them. It's fine.
That's the spirit.
Bo Sager says wrong. Joey W is ranked that year. Were we ranked? I don't think we were when we played Baylor. No, we got ranked later on after beating Baylor. I don't think we were ranked at the time. I'm pretty sure we were not ranked at the time when Baylor came into Morgantown.
Brahm is not happy. So they pulled a flag, which I thought was going to be running into the punter. But it looks like they may overturn it because Brahm is looking pretty upset.
So North Carolina just got the ball down to the 10-yard line, 1st and goal. And the play's getting ready to snap off. So I'll tell you play by play here what's going to happen. Quarterback's in the shotgun. Got a man to his left. Snap back. Handoff up the middle, down to the 4-yard line. So nice run by North Carolina down to the 4-yard line. And he ran right between. Well, he kind of followed the guard. He ran right between the tackle and center and followed the guard up through there. Got a nice run. So 2nd goal, ball on the 5-yard line. They marked him back to the 5. Snap back, shotgun formation. Throwing it in the end zone and overthrew the guy.
Oh,
Wasn't nobody really open anyway. He kind of just had to get rid of it on his back foot.
The punter is kind of limping, so that's not exactly a great sign for Purdue.
Bo Sacker, who was that quarterback for TCU that year? I remember that quarterback just tore us up and ended up being Holgerson giving him a high five on the sidelines. Who was that quarterback? Man, I can't believe his name's slipping my mind.
Which year was it?
Uh-oh. Clemson just intercepted it. It's gone. They're not going to catch him. Clemson intercepted. Run back for a touchdown.
So you got a big play. Clemson got a big play, and Michigan just got a big play. Huge pass reception with Luke Schoonmaker, who's been really, really good at catching the ball. And just everybody's saying JJ can't throw a medium to deep ball. Well, you just saw one.
Yeah, that's right. Boykin. You remember Boykin at TCU? John, do you remember Boykin, the quarterback? Yeah, that was the quarterback. Man, he tore us up. He absolutely ripped us a new hole. that it got so bad. Dana Holgorsen just ended up giving him a high five on the sidelines, telling him he's doing a good job.
Oh, and a touchdown. Donovan Edwards took it the rest of the way for a touchdown. 27, probably about to be 28 to 13 Purdue. This is what I'm telling you.
Oh my gosh! I'm telling you what. 3 teams
I thought Purdue
in the top
would
5 going down would
hang
not
the
be.
first half. But.
Yeah, 3 teams in the top 5 going down. It's not going to be good. But you know what? A Michigan loss will help TCU. I think it'll help TCU to get a little bit more pull to get in. They're going to say, "Well, why would we let Michigan in and Ohio State? We can't let Michigan and Ohio State both in and not let TCU."
Michigan is far from losing, so I don't think that's.
No, right. I'm not saying.
Yeah. Michigan just
7
scored again, so Michigan's
I'm
up.
watching. No, I know. I'm watching the chat and trying to talk. I'm just wondering. It would be better if Michigan. It would be better for TCU if Michigan lost.
Yeah, I can see that.
I
don't, Justin. Has to be is not. I don't know about has to be. I think TCU should be, but they unfortunately didn't take care of the thing is if USC and TCU had taken care of their business, then it wouldn't have been in the hands of the committee. And then they all would have gotten in because the committee was saying this would have been the Final Four if the outcome was like everybody takes care of business. Unfortunately, TCU did not take care of business. They should have quarterback sneak. They didn't. They lost. So now it's in the hands of the committee who likes ratings and money. And it's, so I think TCU having to be in is slightly strong. I think they should be in, but I don't know if they're going to be.
So he said, let's see, where was that? I don't know now. Oh, yeah, J.K. Marshall says that dude doesn't care about TCU. Yeah, well, I can convince him of TCU and get him to agree, and then we can go out and debate. Once Scoop John agrees, TCU should be in the playoffs.
Yeah, they should be. If it were up to me, if I was the commissioner of college football, TCU would be in. Period. But it's a committee. And this is why we need the 12-team playoff, this exact situation.
Justin says that's because the committee rigs everything just the way they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of way they do.
It is rigged. It's absolutely rigged. They want the teams that are going to get the highest ratings, so the advertisers are happy. It all comes back to revenue.
If they put Alabama in over TCU, you have to admit it's rigged. Yeah, well, I'm telling you right now, it's rigged. Even if they don't put Alabama in over TCU, even if they don't put Alabama in over TCU, it's rigged. It's in bottom line. That they're going to do what they want to do, and we have no say.
But part of it is performance. So part of again, if you take care of your business, you're going to be in, right? Unless you're a team like a G5, and then Cincinnati could have been kept out if Oklahoma State had won their conference or various things. So that's not always the case that if you take care of your business, you're in. But most of the time, if you take care of your business, you're going to be in. If West Virginia goes 13-0, they're in.
Yeah. Justin says pro sports are rigged even more. Yeah.
I understand. Oh, I saw the game, and I thought Duggan did a great job. He basically willed his team to come back from the 11-point deficit or whatever the deficit was. I think it was 11. It was an impressive. It was an impressive showing. They made it to OT, and just should have called a quarterback sneak under center or kick the field goal.
So Sorgi is saying this to Bo Stacker, that next week Notre Dame and Marquette are going to play in basketball, and I read that and I got to thinking, it's a great time to say Marquette, though, is undefeated in football since 1962. Just to let everybody know that. So Marquette has not lost a game in football since 1962. I don't know what they're talking about there. Yes, we should have won that game.
NFL. So just incredible. NFL uses magnets in ball and gloves, and the technology exists if you're unaware. Well, it not only exists, but if anybody followed the AAF, the Alliance of American Football, this was a team in 2019, a kind of a what do you want to call it, and a lot, similar to the kind of like I would call it a B league to the NFL, right? And they had developed technology where they had a chip in the ball. They had you could use an app to actually see where everything was, and so they used that technology. They had a sky judge. It was awesome. And the NFL and the college football are way behind when a bankrupt team, AAF was able to do all this stuff. So
Stories says, thank you, Joey. And then he corrects me. Hashtag Marquette football undefeated since 1960. I said 62. So my apologies, Story.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's 1960.
Oh no, DJ Turner went down.
They ain't had a football team. They ain't had a football team since then, but that's true. They are undefeated.
If DJ Turner is injured, that's not good.
Man, J.K. Marshall, you're making me hungry. So just get away, get out of here with that stuff. Unless you're going to bring me some food. Get out of here with that. Unless you're going to bring me some food. Justin says there's possibly even magnets in field goal post. I don't know.
If you're asking what's my name's John Diadamo, aka One Scoop John, over on Mark Rogers. There it is.
There you go. There's his. That's his handle. John's a great guy. John's a great guy. Let me tell y'all something. There's a lot of times on Sunday, that I'm doing a show and stuff, and hard to get anybody to come on Sunday. John's always there for me, and John, was there for me today to come on this show with me. But it's great to have a lot of friends in the community, but you can't have much of a friend than John. John and Jeff Grimm are two super great guys that care about this channel, care about this show, care about me enough to back me up and come on with me and help me out. And I really appreciate them. So we have a lot of people like that. It's not just those two, though. We have a lot of people like that. And, I'm pointing out John right now because John's here, but there's a lot of great people. Like I say, Jeff's one other one. Tim Brangley, Tony Altamore. I mean, these are great guys that are just come right on your show, last minute's notice, and help you out. Justin says he meant magnets in the post in the NFL for sure.
Can we just get a sky judge? I really love the sky judge. Because what you're able to do, if anybody watched the AAF or the XFL, I think it was the XFL, and you could actually listen to the deliberations. So like if there was a call on the field that was questionable and they were deliberating it, then you would get to hear the sky judge actually like walk through it and analyze to see which way they were going to go. So you may not agree with them every time, but you got full transparency in what they were thinking, which was really cool. And we don't got that anywhere near that yet in NFL or college, and I'd love to see it.
I'm going to say this real quick. So neither one of these games are that interesting. Michigan's kind of blowing Purdue away, and Clemson's kind of blowing North Carolina away. So, I mean, neither of these games are that interesting. So, if it don't make a change in about 15 minutes, I'm going to get off here because I am so tired that I can barely hold my head up. And you guys have probably noticed that I'm not really with the program tonight. And it's because I am really tired. I need
Well, I
some
didn't
rest.
notice.
I am just not with the program. And J.K. Marshall says that John always has a great take. And
Thank you.
I agree, he does.
That's very nice. Well, Purdue, you may get your wish, Joey. Purdue just got a big run, and they're at the around the 20. Oh, there's a little fake. Oh, that was interesting. It was like a fake, like flea flicker. Brom always has something up his sleeve. Yeah.
What did he do? Turn around and act like he's going to throw the ball back and
He was
then
gonna. Yep. Interception. Will Johnson, the 5-star cornerback, just intercepted the ball. We love that guy. He became a starter.
It's just like I said, these games are not that interesting. There's not really much going on them. I mean, Michigan's not having any trouble with Purdue. Clemson's not having any trouble with North Carolina as it stands right now. So, I mean, we'll keep going here for a little bit, but seriously, I'm going to be close to just going ahead and shutting the stream down.
Will Johnson, he's going to be in the NFL. Absolutely. And we get him for 3 years. So look out, Ohio State.
So with all them food comments, J.K. Marshall's responding to Silas because Silas said something, I guess. He said, but anyway, he says, Silas, I'm trying to keep up with Joey and his 2 a.m. steak and mac. You better believe it, man. At 1:30 in the morning, guys, let me tell y'all this story real quick. So I'm sitting here on a live stream, and I'm starving. I mean, I am so hungry. And my wife's in bed, but she gets up for a second and comes by me, and I said, I am so hungry. I said, I don't know what's going on. I'm so hungry. She actually went into the kitchen while she was up, cooked me a T-bone steak and macaroni and cheese, and brought it back to me sitting here at my desk doing a live stream. And I'm sitting here with a T-bone steak and macaroni and cheese. So, it was kind of amazing. That's how great of a wife I have. She's amazing. She is fantastic.
T-bone, that sounds great. I just did so I just got myself an air fryer on Amazon for Black Friday. And I made earlier I made some of the bread, the breaded the popcorn shrimp in it. That is such a cool, nifty device, because 10 minutes and you got crispy stuff. And down here in Florida, it gets real hot. So any way I can avoid an oven, I'm gonna do it. So I did that, and I did Kraft mac and cheese.
I did that too. I bought one of the big air fryers, really good ones. Whenever we traveled the country in a camper, we were camping and stuff. We did that for 3.5, 4 years. We traveled the country. And it got to where, in that camper in the summertime, especially, it got really hot. You turn that propane oven on and all them eyes, we get really, really hot in there. And so I told my wife, I said, let's go buy us a good air fryer. Let's just find us a really good one and buy it.
Yeah.
And we bought it. I loved it. My wife hated that air fryer. Oh, she hated it. She wanted to just cook on the stove and stuff. And, so.
Wow.
But she likes to cook. She enjoys cooking, and she does a great job at it. So Justin says, what, Joey? Like, you have a real life? And then he says, just kidding. And then he says, that's a good wife, and sticks his thumb up. You better believe it's a good wife. Do that, something like that. Clemson.
All y'all wish, that is absolutely a good wife. That is relationship goals for sure.
Yeah, 22 years of marriage, and she still does that for me. Wow. Yeah, she's amazing. So Bo Sacker says Clemson now has a bigger argument to be in the playoff over Bama. At least they're a conference champion. Yeah. true.
Yeah,
But
but that's not
still,
gonna happen.
them losses. Mike Bott is making fun of Mrs. Pete. J.K. Marshall has a smaller oven in his garage that he uses. And Silas says, "All right, I'm hungry." Yep, it's official. We're all hungry now.
You know, this
I'm
a great opportunity to say if any food companies are listening in, they want to sponsor. You know, talk to Joey and Golden Blue Dude, and let's get a sponsorship deal going.
Yeah,
make everybody
that'd
want
be
your
great.
food.
Hey, I want to be sponsored by T-Bone Steaks.
There you go.
No, you know who we need? I've always said we need Pepsi for a sponsor because Ellie holds his Pepsi at the beginning of every video. Pepsi checked, you know. I mean, you got to have your Pepsi, according to Golden Blue Dude. So we need Pepsi for a sponsor.
Absolutely. Or get like the the Nick Saban deal where he has the Coca-Cola. Yeah, then but with Pepsi if you want to do Pepsi.
Yeah.
The $1 million bottle of Coke.
Ooh,
Traeger grills.
I think I might have to have food.
Oh, JK, I have been wanting to try the Traeger. I'm in an apartment, so I can't. That's actually why, one of the reasons I was like, oh, maybe I'll just get an air fryer so that, because it has a grill within it, so you can grill stuff in it. But one day in the future, I want a Traeger with the smoker in it. They get that smoked meat.
Justin wants vanilla Pepsi, but he can't get it.
Oh, vanilla
yeah, you can get it. Just go out and buy you some vanilla extract. Put it over in the Pepsi. Yeah, you can get it.
There you go. Man, vanilla Coke was like one of my favorites growing up. That and Mountain Dew Code Red. Anybody remember Mountain Dew Code Red? Oh, and Pepsi Blue.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I remember that. How many of you were alive when Coke was Coke, and then they became Coke Classic, or they became New Coke? How many of you remember Coke becoming New Coke and the outrage? I was a Coke fan, a huge Coke fan. I mean, I loved Coke. When they went to New Coke, I mean, I could tell a difference. I could tell it. People said, "Oh, you're crazy, Joey." Well, I could tell a difference in it. Yeah, and now they've gone back to pretty much their old formula. Anything you buy now, you can't find New Coke anywhere. But does anybody remember that? I'm just curious if anybody in the chat's older than I am, or as old as I am.
Well, I wasn't alive, but what they actually for Stranger Things, there was some type of deal where you could try New Coke. So basically the Coca-Cola company brought back New Coke for this promotion a couple of years ago. And I was like, I have to try it because I've read about this over and over, this whole New Coke controversy, and I just want to try it. And it tasted like Diet Coke, but with the whatever the sweetener is removed, and then sugar added in. It's kind of what it was like. It's hard to explain, but that's what it kind of reminded me of.
I don't know who their marketing director and their PR director was at the time. I'm sure they don't have a job. I'm sure they lost their job really quick, changing them over to New Coke and stuff, and I mean, they put a lot of money into that change. They made a huge advertisement. They were losing out. They were still the top seller in soft drinks, but Pepsi was catching them, and they got scared. And so they decided, hey, I'll come out with New Coke. Now, it was either a marketing genius or stupidity, because Coke fell off the rails when they came out with New Coke. I mean, they just completely fell off the rails. But then when they made the comeback and came out with Coke Classic, that was marketing genius, because then they went right back up to being the dominant leader. So I guess it's according to how you look at it. It was either a blunder or genius.
Yep, absolutely.
Most Hacker says he remembers when Coke had to be changed. Silas says he don't remember, but still likes Coke.
It wasn't
Justin
that
says you can't get Coke anywhere.
Silas, it wasn't amazing, but I could understand like why, if they did like a taste test, why they would think people might be interested in it. Because if you just did a blind taste test and you took the branding of regular Coke away and you were just like, you had two little cups and one of them had New Coke and one of them had Pepsi and one of them had, like, it would be a different experience. I think that's what they were doing. Is they were doing these like trials and stuff like that. But yeah, it wasn't that.
So in case anybody cares at this point, because it really doesn't matter, Clemson just scored again, a touchdown.
Yeah.
You know,
legend has it Clemson is still scoring.
Yeah, I mean it's 39-10, and North Carolina has done nothing to slow Clemson down, and Clemson is giving. They're bending, but they're not breaking. So, like, they'll let North Carolina drive the ball, and then they just intercept it and run it back for a good run. So, yeah, this stream has run its course because these two games are not even close. So, I think I'm going to close it up
Purdue.
tonight.
Oh, you jinxed it, Joey. So now we've got you got 89. I don't know his name, but 89 just caught the ball. They're at 1st and goal, and it could become very quickly a 8-point game. So let's see what happens here.
Well, last time they did that, didn't they throw an interception or a fumble? Or something?
They threw an interception in the end zone. So you know,
Silas says no, wait, Joey. West Virginia just scored again on Clemson. Yeah. That was 10 years ago. That's for sure.
Let Joey get some sleep. Absolutely. Joey can get some sleep whenever. We wrap it up.
Yeah, well, you know, the thing about it is I'll get off here and I won't go to sleep. I'll probably find a live stream and go in there. But being in here and doing a show, you know, it's a lot different.
It's different.
Just like hanging out.
No, that's what I do
it's
too.
A lot different
like
than hanging out. Yeah.
It's very different to be on and to do a thing versus just like hanging in a chat. Like very, very different.
Yeah, just hanging out. I'll probably go somewhere and hang out in a live chat somewhere or something. Yeah, I don't know if I'll go to Uncle Lou or Beastie and Pete or, you know, Mark Rogers, whoever's live. I'll go and hang out in the chat. Plus, you know, I might even go under stream for a little bit. But Traveling Pools is live. Why don't we all go to Traveling Pools? Let's all go a track run. Traveling Pools. What do y'all say? You want to do that?
Traveling Pools.
Everybody look up Traveling Pools. Somebody type Traveling Pools or type TF in the chat. Somebody type TF in the chat. It'll give you his link. Let's go. I'll go over there and rate him. Let's do that.
Let's do it.
All right, guys. I'm gonna end this for tonight. I appreciate everybody coming in. Appreciate the super chats. Love you guys. Thank you for everything you do to support Golden Blue Dude. And I'll be here tomorrow at 4:00 to do a live show at 4, and we'll talk about today's games and you know, just hang out. So come and hang out with us at 4:00 tomorrow. Everyone have a great night, and we will see you later.